Okay. Thank you all for your patience. We'll begin in just a few minutes, a second or two. Waiting for the staff. Okay, here we go. I believe they're coming back in. There we go. Great. Good evening and welcome to the Leon Valley City Council meeting. We're so glad so many of you could join us not only here in the chambers but also online. We are live streaming this meeting as well to people who cannot be here this evening. Today's Tuesday, November 6th, Election Day. I hope all of you had an opportunity to vote. We had a terrific turnout here in Leon Valley. I think over 3,000 people early voted in Leon Valley, which was phenomenal. So congratulations to our city for the great turnout, and we don't know what the turnout is today. But all council members are present, and if you'll please, I'd like to introduce our new Assistant Police Chief, Ruben Saucedo. If you'll please stand, he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Assistant Chief of Police Saucedo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Just a few housekeeping details before we begin the meeting. Could you please turn off your cell phones or silence them, please? And our local rules do allow for citizen input at any point in our agenda, but rather than, asking every agenda item, if after the staff presentation and council discussion and before council takes any action, if you would like to raise your hand and you'd like to add comments to a particular agenda item, we do allow it under our local rules. So just wanted to remind you of that as well. Okay, also one other thing, when I was looking at the online video, Sandra, just FYI, when you come to the podium, could you please speak really, really clearly into that mouthpiece? Because a lot of times when people stand back, we can't hear you. And I'm just now picking that up. And so if you come to speak, if you could really, really use that microphone, we'd greatly appreciate it so we can get a good, clean record and people at home and in the chambers can hear you as well. Okay, thank you very much. Moving then to our agenda item number 2, which is presentations. Number 1, introduction and recognition of new police officers, Ahmadin and Masadi, and Police Sergeant Trevino. And I'd like to introduce our Chief of Police, Joe Salvaggio, who will be presenting these awards this evening. Thank you. Yes, sir. Hold on, that's me over here. Thank you. Welcome. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Officer Saratin Ahmadin. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Thank you. Let me read this certificate of achievement, please. Whereas in recognition of your promotion to the rank of police officer with the Leon Valley Police Department, this certificate of achievement is awarded to Officer Ahmadin. Whereas in recognition of the excellent record you compiled during your 4 years of dedicated law enforcement service to the grateful citizens of San Antonio, Bexar County, and the surrounding community. Whereas as a member of the San Antonio Airport Police Department, you tirelessly served the over 8 million passengers traversing through the airport each year, keeping citizens safe from criminals, selflessly serving and protecting those in need, and honorably helping all members of the community, regardless of gender, race, religion, or creed. Whereas you have steadfastly upheld your oath to enforce all federal, state, and local laws in an impartial manner. Your integrity, character, and ethics have remained above reproach, setting the example for the citizens that we serve, as well as all officers in the law enforcement community. Now, therefore, I, Chris Riley, by virtue of the authority vested me as mayor, do hereby promote you to the rank of officer. Signed by my hand, this 6th day of November, 2018. Mayor Chris Riley, congratulations. Let's show our appreciation to our newest officer of Leon Valley. Congratulations. And Chief? Yes, and his family is here.
Yes, please, come on up. So, I know I'm loud enough without this thing. Here, keep that.
Yes, I will. I'm
So
not.
I did want to point out
Come
one-
on in.
Come on,
Come on.
over,
Yes, these. Mr. and Mrs.
I
Ahmadin,
do want to point out one
welcome.
thing, about the Ahmadins here. We hear all this time about the American dream and about what it is. People come from all the other countries and all the negative stuff we hear about immigration and all that stuff lately. That's all BS. This is a family right here that came here for this country. How long have y'all been here now, sir?
About 15 years.
About 15 years. And from Africa. And in this short period of time in our country, in their country now, their son is now not only being sworn as a police officer, has his degree, and I'll tell you, he's one of the finest, not only police officers, but human beings that I've dealt with in many years. So I wanted to point that out to say, don't believe everything you see in here that you see on TV and stuff. This is a fine officer and a fine human being, and we really, really are glad to have him. I hired him away from Leon Valley. A lot of people don't know that. When I was at the airport, and he came back home. So I'm glad to have him back. We talked about it on day one about him coming back. It just took him a little bit to finally decide this is where he belongs. So you want to pinch his back, sir?
Don't stick them. Congratulations. Yes. Would you all like to say anything? Any words of wisdom to the citizens of Leon Valley?
Thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate it. Thanks. That's it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Short, sweet, and to the point. There you go. Thank you. And the Ahmadins are from Nigeria. I asked his mother. Thank you very much. I'd love to go there one day. All right. We have another officer here. Officer Jason Masiate. Hi, how are you? Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Let me read this Certificate of Achievement. Whereas in recognition of your promotion to the rank of police officer with the Leon Valley Police Department, this Certificate of Achievement is awarded to Officer Jason Masate. Whereas in recognition of the excellent record you compiled during your 8+ years of dedicated law enforcement service to the grateful citizens of San Antonio, Bexar County, and the surrounding community, whereas as a member of the law enforcement community, you kept citizens safe from criminals, selflessly serving and protecting those in need, and honorably helping all members of the community, regardless of gender, race, religion, or creed. Whereas you have steadfastly upheld your oath to enforce all federal, state, and local laws in an impartial manner. Your integrity, character, and ethics have remained above reproach, setting the example for the citizens that we serve, as well as all officers in the law enforcement community. Now, therefore, I, Chris Riley, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby promote you to the rank of officer. Signed by my hand this 6th day of November, 2018, Mayor Chris Riley. Congratulations. Let's show him our appreciation and welcome. You're welcome. And your family is here. Please come on up. Thank you, your parents. Uh-oh, somebody didn't turn off their cell phones. Okay. Hi there. Welcome again.
Thank you.
I got to
Thank
introduce
you.
myself before the meeting. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm an officer myself.
There you
I
go.
didn't mean to do this.
That's okay. That's all right.
The needle in the haystack in here, you know.
There you go. Do we have a
I'm gonna have
flashlight?
my wife take it.
There we go.
Yeah. I didn't bring my glasses.
There you go.
Chief here to help.
There you go. You got it. Thank you. Congratulations. Chief, yes. Or, Officer, would you like to say a few words as well?
So I've haven't known him as long as I've known his brother, but
Take this back.
yeah, 'cause I am. So, he comes to us with 8.5 years of experience. That shows you officers from other agencies are moving over to this agency and to serve this community, and you're getting the best out there. And hands down, he was the best that was in that selection period. Hands down, the best officer. Comes with all kind of credentials that the city will not have to pay for, and will be able to train and do a lot of great things for this department. So we're looking forward to him being here, and the dedication he's already shown has been tremendous. So thank you and welcome aboard. Thank you, Chief.
There you go.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to take this time to say thank you to a few special people that have really helped me along the way. First and foremost, to my parents who have supported me throughout all the years and all the law enforcement endeavors. Thank you so very much. You've been there each and every step of the way. So sincerely, I can't express my gratitude and love enough. Three people in particular, Chief Salvaggio, Captain Salceda, Lieutenant Gonzalez. I just want to express, again, gratitude for taking the opportunity, taking the time to bring me on board as part of this community, as part of this family for the Leon Valley Police Department. It's an honor and it's a pleasure, and rest assured that while I'm out in the streets, I'm going to be doing 110% to always put forth my best effort. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Officer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. This is Sergeant Trevino. Yes. Sergeant David Trevino, if you'll come forward. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Thank you. All right. I'd like to read this certificate of achievement. Whereas in recognition of your promotion to the rank of sergeant with the Leon Valley Police Department, this certificate of achievement is awarded to Sergeant David Trevino. Whereas in recognition of the excellent record you compiled during your 30-plus years of dedicated law enforcement service to the grateful citizens of San Antonio, Bexar County, and the surrounding community. Whereas as a leader on the San Antonio Police Department Special Operations Unit and Bomb Unit, you tirelessly served the entire region, keeping us all safe from criminals, selflessly serving and protecting those in need, and honorably helping all members of the community, regardless of gender, race, religion, or creed. Whereas you have steadfastly upheld your oath to enforce all federal, state, and local laws in an impartial manner. Your integrity, character, and ethics have remained above reproach, setting the example for the citizens that we serve, as well as all officers in the law enforcement community. Now, therefore, I, Chris Riley, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby promote you to the rank of sergeant. Signed by my hand this 6th day of November, 2018, Mayor Chris Riley. Congratulations, Sergeant. We're so glad you're here. Thank you. And do you have your family here? Yes, if you'll come forward, please. Thank you. Mrs. Trevino, welcome. And I know I got to say hello to you. Yes, Eloise, yes. Uh-oh. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. Here, got a picture. Here you go.
So real quick on David, as you can see or heard there from the bomb squad, what he's done for the last 20 years probably. He is recognized as one of the experts in this area, this entire region. As a matter of fact, when they had the bombing, the package bombs, we had the media contacting us because they knew he was here to interview him. So that's the level of expertise that David brings to this team, and the additional stuff he's going to bring that we didn't have that capability within the city now that we do. And so he'll be able to turn around, train those officers, get those young guys understanding on how to deal with those packages and those types of things. And we are very, very lucky to have him here as not only from the bomb squad, but just for his leadership and his demeanor and what he means to this department. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
And coming to work with us.
And please say a few words.
Wasn't expecting a speech, but anyway, all I can say is thank you to Chief Salvaggio, the city of Leon Valley, the residents, people here I know what it takes to be a police officer. Been a long time. Trust is a big part of it, and I want to thank everybody here for trusting me to do this job, do the best of my ability, and move forward with Leon Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Okay. Last but not least, that's right. Assistant Police Chief Ruben Saucedo, come on down. There we go. Congratulations. All right. Certificate of Achievement. Whereas in recognition of being promoted in the Leon Valley Police Department to the rank of Assistant Chief, this Certificate of Achievement is awarded to Assistant Police Chief Ruben Saucedo. Whereas in recognition of the excellent service you have compiled during your 34 years of exemplary service to the grateful citizens of the state of Texas and this community. Whereas you have tirelessly worked to keep the citizens safe from criminals, selflessly serving those in need, and honorably helping all members of our community regardless of gender, race, religion, or creed. You have steadfastly upheld your oath to enforce all federal, state, and local laws in an impartial manner. Your integrity, character, and ethics have remained above reproach, setting the examples for the citizens that we serve, as well as all officers in the law enforcement community. Now, therefore, I, Chris Riley, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby promote you to the permanent rank of Assistant Chief of the Leon Valley Police Department. Signed by my hand this 6th day of November, 2018, Mayor Chris Riley. Thank you. So we're so glad. Congratulations. I've known you for years. You've gone through the ranks, and I know you have lots of family and supporters in this chambers this evening. So who would you like to?
My daughter's going to be
Yes,
here.
your daughter. Yes. And your name?
You don't realize he's already got the rank. He must be-
Ariel. This is Ariel, his daughter. Ariana. Thank you. Oh, you're beautiful. Thank you. Here you go. You hold the. Congratulations. One more. Oh, you've got another one. Okay. You want me to hold that? Yeah. I'm being from both sides.
So those of y'all that have been around a while know that Ruben's been around here a long time.
Yeah.
I Did I say a long time?
You said a long time, yeah.
So I tease him about that quite a bit. But I'll tell you, he's made my life so much easier once I got here. For those of y'all who don't know, this is the second time Ruben's wore this rank. It was temporary to begin with, and a decision was made at the time that we were going to reduce that rank until such time as he met some goals that we had set out for him. And I'll tell you, in the short 2-year period, not even 2 years really, since we did all that, he's met those and exceeded those. From helping us rebuild the police department in so many different ways, the ordering of equipment and to building, what you see as far as these officers and getting them trained and getting all those things taken care of that we really were needing some assistance with. And I couldn't have done it without him, hands down. He finally met the final barrier by going to the FBI National Academy. I'll tell you, it's hard, one, to get into it, first off. But second of all, it's even harder to leave your family for almost 3 months. And that's what you end up doing. You go to D.C. for close to 3 months. And having once did that, I know how painful that is. But, my daughters were my youngest was about her age, and I know how much that they missed each other. And so that sacrifice that he made to go there and to do those things for this city, for this community, is not lost on me, and hopefully it's not lost on y'all. Because it is a huge sacrifice to spend that time up there, not only in D.C., first off, but it's going to school again, like you're back in college somewhere and taking master's level courses. So he flew right through those. He did a great job. And from the people, there's a couple of people in here that from his class that came in. That just shows you the level of dedication, not only to that organization, but that he showed to ours, that they would travel here to be with him today. So, Ruben, I tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you and congratulations. Very, very well deserved. Thank you.
Congratulations. Huh? Oh, you won't need that.
I'll talk loud enough. Yes, ma'am, by all means.
You'll also talk loud. I just. Okay, thank you, Kat.
Thank you very much for being here. I told the chief just a couple weeks ago, I told him privately that when the position of police chief came open, he knows that I applied for it, and everybody else knows. But when I learned that he had tossed his name in the basket, I knew that he was the right guy. And I prayed that it was him. And it's definitely the right guy. For the last 2 years, it seems as though I'm strapped to the hood of a muscle car because we have just been going 110 miles an hour. And it's been fantastic. I am very, very fortunate to work with such a great team. These guys that the chief has brought in, these guys are amazing. They have great backgrounds. I'm very lucky. On occasion, they'll drop a little tidbit of information. I get to pick it up and put it in my pocket. But I got to tell you, it would take me another lifetime to be able to get to where the chief is, because he's definitely on another level. And this is what this community was looking for, and this is what we have. We have a great team here. I would have never thought that I would have gone to the FBI National Academy earlier this year, but I got to go, and I got to meet some amazing people. There were 232 of us from all across the United States and 18 foreign countries. Some of them I know that are watching tonight on the live stream, and I look forward to seeing every one of you guys again. I have one of my classmates here.
That's right.
Major from DPS, Philip Ayala. I'm so glad to see him here. I see members of the business community. I see other people that we do business with from the city, and I consider them friends. I'm so glad you're here. Truly, I am blessed to be in this position. My family is also here. Members of other police departments are here, and I've had such a great time. I can't wait for the next 2 years. I want to personally thank the directors who have helped me along the way. I've had many a conversation with Crystal, and she started off with, well, if I was you, I would do this. So she has allowed me to kind of vent and to kind of, bounce things off of her. So she's been a great mentor and a great friend. But I got to say, I would be certainly remiss if I didn't thank somebody and recognize someone who truly put things in place that had the key people at the right time in the right spots. Truly, this one person is the architect of all of our success, City Manager Kelly Kensler. I thank her every day for...
She didn't give you the job.
I thank her every day for being here and for giving us the leadership, passing it down to all the different departments. The city council, the mayor, you guys really hit it out of the park with her and with the chief. And it's because of them I am in my position now. So I say thank you very much. Mayor and council, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. All right. Congratulations to all of our Assistant Chief Salcedo and all of our sergeants and 2 police officers. We are so very grateful that you've chosen to come to Leon Valley and work for our community. At this time, we're going to take about a 10-minute recess, and we'll have a reception right outside the chambers. So please get some cake, talk to all of the officers and all of the people, and thank you all for coming, and we will recess in 10 minutes. Thank you, or reconvene in 10 minutes. Thank you. I don't think Kelly knows she's next. And thank you all for coming. Those of you that are leaving, thank you all very much for coming. Do appreciate it. Okay. Moving then, Ms. Kinsler, are you ready? We're going to move to City Manager's Report, agenda item number 4. Good evening and welcome. Thank you. No, that's okay. I just wanted to kind of move this meeting forward because I know everybody's got a lot on their plate.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this afternoon, Mayor Riley and I did get a letter of support from the superintendent of the Northside Independent School District that I wanted to be able to read. Dear Mayor Riley and Leon Valley City Council, Northside Independent School District would like to express our support for the proposed Leon Valley Tobacco 21 ordinance that would increase the minimum age for the sale of tobacco products to age 21. As educators, we are dedicated to promoting lifelong health and wellness behaviors to all students and families, including the avoidance of tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes. Studies have shown that, due to continued brain development until the age of 25, delaying a first experiment with tobacco can reduce the risk of young people becoming regular tobacco users. This is a great opportunity to build a healthier generation. We thank you and the Leon Valley City Council for your protection of the health of our young adults. We ask that each member of the City Council support this life-saving ordinance. Sincerely, Brian T. Woods, Superintendent, Northside Independent School District.
Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you reading that.
And then Crystal has a slideshow that I wanted to show you as part of the city manager's report that she's bringing up right now. It'll just take a few minutes, but it's a tutorial that Maribel Mendoza, I think, has done a great job on. It's going to be a link on our website so that people understand how to use the website, including you. And so we wanted to take you through this tutorial, which just lasts a couple of minutes. Do you want me to keep reading, Crystal? Okay. So as it's loading, I wanted to update you on the parking lot over at Shadow Mist and Crystal Hills. We got an update yesterday evening. So Public Work is going to need to bid for like the pavers and the asphalt, the concrete, the supplies that we need. And we'll need to have that by mid-January, as long as you all approve the budget adjustment. Southland Companies, who's the company that I made the deal with to construct the parking lot for free for storage of that dirt, will remove the soils by early to mid-January. Our engineer is going to provide them with the 4 corner stakes and set the finish elevations for them to the top of the pavers once the soils have been removed. And then our engineer will have to provide them with the typical install sheet and set elevations across the property. So we'll have to do those two things with the engineer. And then Southland Company will do the rough grade, and then with the materials, complete the entire parking lot for us. The estimated time for completion of this parking lot is the end of January or sometime in February. And of course, this is weather dependent. But I know that was a question last time, so I wanted to make sure that we addressed it this time. Okay? Next regular city council meeting will be held November 20th at 6 o'clock p.m. Animal stuffed sleepover at the library, November 9th from 3 to 6. Bridge dedication and Veterans Day is from 1 to 3 at the Leon Valley Library. There was an error in your report, but it did not. It's not on. There's not an error on the website. There's not an error for the citizens. It was just the one that went out with yours. Texas Recycle Day is November 17th from 8 to 10 a.m. at the Public Works Department. The library is doing a makerspace event in conjunction with Barnes & Noble on Monday, November 19th from 2 to 4. San Antonio Symphony presentation for children is going to be held on Wednesday, November 28th at 10:30. Our annual breakfast with Santa is on December 1st at the Community Center. We always do this with the Friends of the Library and the staff from the Leon Valley Public Library, and that's from 8 to 10:30 in the morning. The annual Christmas tree lighting is going to be a little different this year. We're going to start it at 5:30 instead of 6, and Maribel has placed invitations and information on it. They're really cute invitations outside on this table for everybody. But it's going to begin at 5:30 because we've got so much scheduled. We needed to start it a little bit earlier. But the neat thing we're going to do is once we get the cocoa and the marshmallows and the tree lit and everything, we're going to do the movies in the parking lot afterwards. That evening, it'll start at 6:45, and the movie that night is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So we'll have a long event that night.
That's on a Monday night, right?
It's on a Monday night, and the movie it should be over by 8:15 or 8:30, because we were 8. Oh, okay, 8, because we were talking about it being a school night, so that's why we need to start it promptly, so that.
So it's
8:30,
it's
okay.
going to be at the Veterans Park over by the library, right in that area?
That's correct.
Not at the Raymond Rimkus. Okay.
Right. And the last one was so successful because we didn't have any shortages with the breakers or anything. And I know that Councilor Rodriguez was there, and people liked us having it there. And so we were thinking, if they're happy with this the second time, that'll just be the venue, that park, rather than Raymond Rimkus, because it's so much easier to plug everything in there. And then Public Works doesn't have to go out the day before, and they don't worry so much about the ants. And where there was so much mud in the park last time, we had to move it there anyway. So it can be a little more predictable if we hold it in that park.
Okay.
And it worked out really well, according to Maribel and Dr. Rodriguez. The annual reading with Rudolph is December 19th at the library at 10:30. Polar Express reading with hot chocolate is December 20th at the library. We have some upcoming committee meetings. The Park Commission is going to meet on November 8th at 6:30, which is this Thursday. There's a special zoning commission that'll be held November 19th at 6:30 right here, and a regular zoning commission November 27th at 6:30 right here. Another special zoning commission meeting is going to be held on December 11th at 6:30, and there is Police Advisory Board meeting next Wednesday, November 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. right here at City Hall. And with that, I believe Crystal is ready for the demonstration. Thank you.
Welcome to the City of Leon Valley's website, which is a guide to what is happening in your community. This website can be located by typing www.leonvalleytexas.gov. This is a short tutorial on how to locate the top 10 most searched items, not in any particular order. We begin with the calendar of events, which is the first yellow icon located in the middle of the page. Once selected, it directs you to the bottom of the main page where it highlights any current or upcoming community events, including city council meetings and any board and commission meetings. For specific details about the event, such as the start time or location, the calendar to the left will have the date highlighted in yellow, and when selected, it reveals the event details to the right. We move forward to the council meetings icon. This icon directs you to a different page where you can view the most current agendas or any past agendas. You can also stream live during a council meeting. An icon will appear at the top of this page that will allow you to select and watch a city council meeting live. We move forward with the public meetings icon. This icon directs you to any past or upcoming board and commission meetings. You select the meeting of choice, choose the year, and select the agenda. To return to the home page, you can select the Leon Valley icon at the top left corner. We move forward to our permits icon. This icon directs you to residential and commercial permits for the city of Leon Valley. This page also explains the necessity for permits and when a permit must be pulled. At the bottom of this page, you will find the permit application links for the appropriate projects. Next, we select our code compliance icon. This page will have the code compliance and animal control contact information. You can also report an issue to the audit team by clicking on this link above. This form allows you to report your community concerns, or you can call directly to the number listed below. We return to the home page and select the tickets icon. This page displays Leon Valley Municipal Court hours of operation and different payment method information, such as making payments online, which you can select, and it directs you to this page, where you can view and pay any Leon Valley Municipal Court citations, utility billing, and specific building permits.
I saw the red light camera. They had a,
Next, we select the impound lot icon.
it was the one before that. Yeah. There was a red light ticket icon.
This page gives you all the vehicle impound lot information, hours of operation, including the next vehicle auction.
I like that.
We move forward to the red light tickets icon, which can be found by clicking on the right arrow. If you would like to return to the first icon, you can click on the left arrow. This icon directly takes you to a different website that allows you to make payments and view your red light camera violation. Next, we select the utility billing icon. This icon also directs you to a different site that allows you to pay or view your account. If you notice, this is the same website you would pay or view your Leon Valley Municipal Court citations and building permits. There are also other icons that will direct you to EMS billing information, rental information for the commuting conference centers and pavilions at Raymond Rimkus Park, special events, such as the Christmas tree lighting or 4th of July, and the Leon Valley Pools website when in season. This concludes the tutorial. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So a link to that tutorial will be on our webpage, so that if somebody doesn't know how to use the webpage, it'll be easier for them to say, they can learn how to do it just in those couple of minutes.
Okay.
But I was just hoping that that would help you all
Sure.
in navigating the site
I,
and the
I
citizens.
had a question, Maribel, because I actually had this question just last week, and I think it's on my topics to discuss with you. But I had a citizen say, I want to look at the ordinances. Where do they go for ordinances?
The ordinances are actually under quick links and also
I'm sorry, under what?
quick links.
Quick links, I'm sorry.
At
Oh,
the top.
okay, all right, all right.
Either one.
I'm sorry, under the government,
Or quick links, correct. And you have,
oh, code of ordinances, again, you get there with the quick links?
Or under
Okay,
Or a government.
okay, all right, I will let them know. Or government,
correct.
okay, and that's where they can see the whole, I mean, we have that big binder, is everything there?
Crystal, use your mic.
Code of Ordinances, when you click there, in big letters, it says if you would like to see them all, click here.
Okay.
But you can't miss it. Uncodified ordinances are any ordinances that are recently adopted that we haven't put in the book yet.
Okay.
And there's a link underneath there next to the Home Rule Charter, and
Okay.
you would click those.
Fantastic. I will let her know now. Thank you. So government or quick links. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Job well done, Maribel. Thank you for doing that.
I agree.
Yes.
It was really,
Mhm.
really
You
a good
bet.
tutorial. Thank you.
I didn't even know that thing scrolled. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was just those. Okay. I didn't see the arrows.
That's
Yeah.
what we were hoping, that
Okay.
you all would
Yeah,
learn, that citizens
exactly.
would learn, and then that you would know that we were going to have that tutorial up there so that, people can get more comfortable in browsing the website.
Okay. Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for the manager on her report from either the council or anyone in our chambers this evening? Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move then to citizens to be heard. If anyone in our chambers would like to address the council, please come forward to the podium, state your name and where you live, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Blackmore, and welcome.
Richard Blackmore, and I live at on Forest Haven in Leon Valley, Texas. I'm here to address you. Just let me say this, coffee with the mayor the other day, I was really impressed. I'm really in favor. Every one of y'all on the council are really good people. I think you're looking out for the welfare of the people of Leon Valley, including our city manager, who I don't always agree with, but she is probably one of the best city managers we've ever had, as far as I know. But I want to address this thing about the tobacco thing. I'm going to say it one more time. I might say it again later on, but we have 18, 19, 20-year-olds making decisions about going in the military and about voting. We got 18-year-olds voting. They should be able to make a decision on if they want to buy cigarettes at 18 or vaporize or whatever they call that stuff. But no one, absolutely no one has a right to tell somebody else if they can or not. I just wonder, if this is passed, I'm just wondering how long is it going to take before they put an age limit on me buying cigarettes? I'm close to 70 years old now. And I just don't want to see that. And I hope and I pray that you don't vote to increase the age limit. Leave it up to the state. Or, like in this coffee with the mayor the other day, we had 50 to 60 some odd old goats in there for store-bought coffee, store-bought Danishes, and they took a vote. That's only a fraction of the people of Leon Valley. If you decide, put it on a vote, put it to the voters of Leon Valley, let them vote. If they want to go for it, I'll support it then. But if y'all decide to raise the age, I'm highly against it. And leave it up to the people. And that's all I got to say. And thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blackmore. Appreciate those comments. Anyone else like to address the council, please come forward and state your name and where you live. Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Tribble. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Good evening.
Yes.
I'm Gail Tribble, 6003 Forest Bend here in Leon Valley. I've been a citizen here since 1972,
Mhm.
a homeowner. In 1993, I contracted with Heartland Builders, who did a lot of business in this city building. They came out and looked at the property. We told them what we wanted. We were wanting to build a storeroom. They started building. Permit was nailed to a tree. They contacted Pat Wright, the city engineer, and he had a public works employee confirm the proper placement where they were building. We've paid taxes on this building since 1993. It was included in a new roof project several years back, permit included. We have had no complaints. We are good citizens who have supported Leon Valley with our service and our sales tax spent and collected. We were looking forward to stepping down and enjoying our life as we are now elderly and living on a fixed income. Suddenly, everything changed. We got a letter dated August 2017. We need a permit for our storeroom. It violated a 1972 building code. No 5-foot setback on the side or the rear. Then, a little later, a citation was issued. A misdemeanor with a $1,200 per day fine, which is still pending. We were told to, and we applied for a variance before the Board of Adjustment in the fall of 2017. This meeting was held January 2018. Now the allegations have changed. We had an encroachment on our alley. We had no permit, and now the prior code used was 1989. Presentation was given by Nina Nixon Mendez, a city employee, her first and last presentation for the city. It was very convoluted. Board members really did not have an idea what we were asking. We were there for a simple variance. The presentation didn't depict the way our house was built on our lot. It didn't go into our small yard. And during the meeting, she blurted out that she couldn't discuss it later or further because we were under criminal investigation. We deny any criminal acts. We had no intent to do anything criminal. She talked first, and then Chief Salvaggio spoke before the hearing, or came up to the mic without being sworn in, and he spoke on what she was trying to talk about. Apparently, we are still under investigation. Out of 26 letters that were sent out to the neighbors within a 200 feet around us, there were 0 letters, people opposed. 6 actually returned letters in favor. And at the meeting, we had another 7 people come with us, our neighbors and people in the area, to testify that they had no objection. In fact, they liked it, the way it looked from the street. The staff packet showed 100% in favor of giving a variance. The variance was denied. We were told our only recourse was to appeal to a court of record, and here we are, still in court on appeal. The city is taking our property. They want us to tear our building down. We cannot move it because of the heritage trees and the utility poles in the back along the alley. Ordinance prevents us cutting trees, and we wouldn't do that anyway. We have maintained this storeroom for all of these years. In the packet, the city staff voted 100% on the building. Aesthetics were good. Property values were maintained. No light, air affected. The fire chief had no problem driving through the alley. CPS has had, and AT&T and other utilities have never had a problem in our alleyway.
And Ms. Triple, if you could just try to wrap it up. Thank you. It's been 5 minutes, but go ahead. I'll let you finish. Yeah.
I didn't see the timer.
No, that's okay.
Okay. We were told to remove it at our expense.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, we've begun to call people for this occasion, pending the court outcome.
Mm-hmm.
The city seems to be fighting this very aggressively, to our surprise, and we were told by city employees that a variance on this type of situation had been granted many times in the past. We have tried to settle. We went to mediation. We were told no, never, ever getting a variance. Unsettling words for us, our lawyer, and the mediator. We've written several emails to all of the council, but none have responded. This has been Another surprise, because we thought we could rely on our city council members to help guide the city in matters of this situation with wisdom and integrity. It seems the city is going after the elderly, long-time residents on issues that should not be issues at all. It seems like the city is trying to treat the citizens like we live in an HOA.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a lot of people leaving the city, just as businesses have left in the recent past. It's a sad situation that Leon Valley is beginning to have this reputation, and people are not willing to move here.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I can just speak for myself. The reason why I did not respond to you was because your case is in litigation, so
Yeah.
that's just kind of a red line.
We actually did. We sent out emails before medication.
Yeah.
Medication.
Yeah, mediation. Yeah, but because
I understand that.
because it's in legal in the court system, then it has to be let up for that.
But
So
I just want y'all. I just want 3 more words.
Okay.
It's all about perception, how the city is viewed, and what you read in the newspapers.
Okay.
I love this city.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for those words, and I appreciate that. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm Bob Tribble. I'm Gail's
Yes,
husband.
sir. Mm-hmm.
I had sent some emails out, and you guys all have city email addresses.
Mm-hmm.
And what concerns me is normally you can get like a delivery receipt when the email is delivered, so at least you know somebody got it. We never got a delivery receipt, a return receipt, nothing. So we don't know if anybody's even getting emails. But I'm pretty sure that you guys did. And I was trying to explain a situation that ordinances, I understand that ordinances change and things have to be changed, over time. But based on a standard lot size, what the ordinances say is a 70 by 120 foot deep lot. And our lot is 120 feet wide by 84 feet deep. And I got to figuring what the setback requirements and all are for our corner lot. And a normal size lot, the 70 by 120, is limited by 48% on where you can build on the lot. So 48% of the open area is taken by variances or by setback requirements. On our lot, ours is limited 94% because we live on the corner and we've got 25 feet on the side, 25 feet on the front, 5 feet in the back, and then 15 feet from the house, which gives us a 4-inch area that we can build anything in the backyard, which is not a very big building. I don't even think you can build a doghouse in that. So that's just all I wanted to tell you guys, that you need to kind of look at the ordinances and see what they're doing to people.
Okay. Thank you for those words, Mr. Tribble. I appreciate that. All right. Anyone else like to address the council at this time? Please come forward. Okay. Seeing no one else, then we'll move to announcements by the mayor and city council. Let's see. Councilor Jordan, we'll start over there this evening. Do you have any announcements?
No, just thank everyone for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Councilor Martinez.
Thank God it's election night and we don't have to listen to all the commercials anymore. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, Office Depot is having their re-grand opening. They completely have redone the store, so that'll be tomorrow. One thing I'd like to point out to staff, in our council packet, could you please review the formatting before you send it out? There's sometimes when there was a couple of items, and I should have wrote them down, that the writing it was the graphs from the coffee. They are miniature, and you really have to blow them up, and then the formatting is off by everything else. So can you please check the formatting and also check the font, the darkness? There's sometimes on some of the reports, the financial reports and stuff are so light, it's really, really hard to read them. Okay. And let's see. And that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Alcacer?
Yes, thank you for being here. I was hoping to tell people to run out to vote, but we already passed 7, so run home and listen to no more commercials. I agree with Councilman Martinez. Anyway, I had a kind of a comment and a question. I received a postcard in the mail that CPS is doing something at this week or next week. Do you?
November 14th.
And it's an education thing for trying to save money over the winter, and it's here in Leon Valley, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. I had forgotten my postcard that I got. So those wanting to save a little bit, it's a good thing to do. And just to thank all the people from, not this past weekend, but the one before that, where all of the things were happening at the same time. At first I thought it would be too much, but it was kind of nice to go from place to place.
Door number 2,
and
door number 3.
be able to do a little bit of everything. And I got some very nice Burr's earrings and some delicious homemade bakery food. And there were lots of other goodies I would have had if I had brought more money. Anyway, thank you, and thanks to the staff for making it come off so well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate those comments. Yes, Councilor Rodriguez.
Just backing up everybody, thank you for everybody that came. Congratulations to all the officers on their new positions. And from my point of view, special thanks to Maribel, because she's really been working hard on the movies in the park, and I really enjoyed that tutorial. That'll help me improve my tech savvy skills. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Councilor Edwards.
Thanks to everyone for coming out this evening. Congratulations to everyone, police department, and thanks to staff for all the activities of a few days ago. And it's great that hopefully it's great everybody voted, and we got our election taken care of, and hopefully we have a really high percentage of people voting and using the rights that so many people have fought to give to us. So thanks to all of you.
Good point. Thank you. Just a few comments. I just wanted to make mention, I don't know if we did, but on the movies in the park, State Senator Jose Menendez and Representative Justin Rodriguez have co-sponsored those movies in the park with the city of Leon Valley. And so I wanted to thank them for their support monetarily, and also just because they support these kind of functions for the community. One thing that I wanted everyone to be aware of, we had a Bandera Road corridor task force meeting about a week ago, and starting at the end of this week and beginning of next week, we're going to be seeing along the Bandera Road corridor these, I don't know, they were supposed to send us some pictures, but anyway, they're going to be taking traffic counts and then Bluetooth. I'm not really sure what the Bluetooth does, but somehow it's going to tell them where a person started from and where they ended up at. So origin and destination studies in alternate routes. And so so if you're going to see all this up and down the corridor. So it's exciting because we're starting to gather the evidence that we need in order to come up with some options of what we can do along Bandera Road. So just, and I think I'd ask them for a picture of it so that Maribel could put it on the e-news, just so people could be aware of that. And then again, yes, congratulations to Assistant Chief Saucedo and Sergeant Trevino and our 2 other officers on their promotion here in Leon Valley. We're very proud of y'all. Okay, thank y'all very much, and we hope to see you at the next council meeting, which is November 20th, right before Thanksgiving Day. All right. Then moving to the consent agenda.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes, I'm sorry.
May I speak?
You sure may. I'm so sorry.
No, I don't normally.
I didn't see your hand wave at me.
No, I don't normally, but I just thought I'd give you an update on the election results.
Yes, please.
So with the early voting, let's see, I just lost it. There were 2,325 votes in favor of the current crime control proposed, and 856 opposed. So it's
That's early voting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty clear that we'll be able to continue that program. Thank you.
And I can update you again in a little bit.
Okay. Very good. And that was just early votes. So when I said 3,000, that was about right.
Yes, ma'am.
Early votes. Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, moving then to the consent agenda, item number 7. Is there anyone on our council that would like to pull any item for discussion? And if not, may I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Martinez to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Moving then to ordinance. These are our ordinances 1, 2, and 3 under 8 that we had discussed prior. And so these are ready for action this evening. And so, Ms. Pasolé, if you'll please read ordinance number 8.1, please.
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley, Texas, City Council amending Article 6.05 of the Leon Valley City Code of Ordinances to be entitled Smoking Regulations to increase the age for sale of tobacco products to 21 years of age, amending Section 6.05 to add Section 6.05.008, establishing enforcement authority, establishing penalties and fines for violations, providing for a publication, providing for repealer, severability, and savings clauses, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Ms. Kinsler, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present Mr. Blackmore's favorite ordinance this evening, the Tobacco 21 ordinance, and this is actually the third reading of the Tobacco 21. So a little bit of background here. This is the short version of the first presentation that you saw, but it's the same presentation for the most part with an added slide that you saw at the coffee. It's a condensed version since this is our third time here. So national statistics gathered state that the leading cause of preventable disease, disability, and death in the United States. Every day, 2,100 young people under the age of 21 become daily cigarette smokers. Nicotine is highly addictive, and the adolescent brain is more susceptible to the addiction. And the FDA is threatening to ban the flavored e-cigarettes at this time. So why raise the age? 90% of adult smokers began smoking before they turned 21. Only 2% of tobacco sold is purchased by 18 to 20-year-old, but that 2% supplies 90% of the addictive tobacco to younger people. Increasing the sale to age 21, Tobacco 21 sees this as a public health issue, therefore a public health solution. If we delay the age of the first tobacco use and reduce the risk of becoming a regular smoker, we can also help keep tobacco out of the schools, and the younger teams have a harder time passing themselves off as 21-year-olds. So far in Tobacco 21 right now, we've got it in 340 plus cities. The slide is at least a month old, so I'm sure it's increased since then, and in 21 states. So we've got about 30% of America covered right now. Needham case history is a smoking rate case history that we've already gone over. These are San Antonio's survey results, and I left them up there because I just wanted you to be able to compare them to Leon Valley's survey rates. They were able to survey about 5,400 individuals across the area. And the question that they ask is whether or not the San Antonio citizens believe that the minimum tobacco sale age should be raised from 18 to 21, and they had a 77.5% response rate of yes. Some community feedback, we've already gone through that. Enforcement, I've actually got an enforcement plan in hand that was emailed to me because of my concern that if you did pass this ordinance this evening, that our police department would immediately have to come up with an enforcement plan. So I've actually got one here that's ready to go, just needs to be amended by the police department, but they would have to get busy on that. But basically, it would be annual inspections for retailers. If you violated the ordinance, the misdemeanor would have a maximum fine of $500. It would be led by our codes department, which is overseen by the Leon Valley Police Department. We will verify signage and employee acknowledgement forms during routine inspections, so employees would have to sign that they know and they understand the Tobacco 21 ordinance. And then the police would be responsible for unannounced compliance checks. or codes. That's just some new news coverage. KINS 5 got a 78% support rate for it when they did the story and asked their viewers to do it. Next slide. There's some retailer feedback. It's been positive retailer feedback in the San Antonio area. We don't have retailer feedback from Leon Valley. But we did get community input, and our results were actually higher from the coffee. As Mr. Blackmore pointed out, I think that was maybe 40 to 50 people, but we did take 44 people. We did take a survey at the coffee, and you had an 81.82% response rate for yes, lowering it to the age of 18. The second question, I'm sorry, that question was whether or not they were concerned about the increase in using e-cigarettes and tobacco products. The second question is whether or not the citizens would support a tobacco 21 ordinance to increase the legal sales age from 18 to 21, and your results at the coffee were a 79.55% yes. That ends the presentation. This is a council decision, but before you made the decision, you asked to table it. You wanted some community input. We took it to the coffee for community input. This is the third reading, and it's now in your hands, and I will stand for questions.
Very good, thank you. Just to address Mr. Blackmore's question about, you know, the number of people that we polled, always remember this statistic that I read. Like in Congress, I mean, they don't have 100% of the people voting on what laws they should pass in Congress. So when they get a letter from a constituent, they weigh it. So this is what you weigh it, that this letter represents 1,000 people with the same view. And so when I put it in that perspective, we could extrapolate this percentage to reflect the citywide view, is what I would say. Also, I think health, safety, and welfare, that's one of our major goals of why we're a community. And if we can, you know, I'm just thinking about the people who, you know, suffer and get addicted to cigarette smoke, and then the illnesses and the cost on the society. And if we can help prevent this, and the statistics and the evidence is showing that we could if we raise the level. So, you know, I certainly appreciate our citizens reflecting this in this survey at the coffee with the mayor. I certainly agree with that. So,
and Mayor, it also may be out of your hands actually come spring.
Oh, that's true.
Because there's state legislation they're trying to ban it
That's
statewide right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this, you know, may be for nothing. It may be, you know, regulated on you by the state here in the spring. We just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're attempting to do, is get the whole state under.
Right, and that's probably going to be how it's going to be more effective because, you know, there's so many other suburban
Pockets,
cities
yes,
that they could go to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just one, but,
right,
you know, just to show that support as well. So any other comments from my colleagues on the dais on Tobacco 21? Yes,
I just
Councilor
want to remind Mr.
Alcacer.
Blackmore, too, that it's not saying they can't smoke, it's saying that the businesses can't sell to them. And there's a distinct difference in that, and the enforcement is going to be with the sellers, and that's just like with alcohol, things that hurt the health. Certainly voting is good for your health, and I don't think there's any comparison. And so many people trying to quit after they started smoking in the military or whatever. Military is a very small percentage of the people, unfortunately. And but talking to high school kids, one of the things that annoyed them the most was other kids smoking. So I think you need to weigh all of the factors and I think you can talk to anybody. I agree with the mayor that the percentage would be very comparable in talking to almost anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me finish with the council, and then I'd love to hear what you say, Mr. Trimble. Any other comments from our council on Tobacco 21? Okay, thank you. We have a comment, but Mr. Trimble, if you could come to the podium, because we are recording this meeting, and then we want people from online to hear you as well. Thank you.
I smoked for a long time, so I had to give it up when I had surgery. But anyway, I have a grandson he's in the Navy and he's at Fort Sam, and they actually have rules. They can't have any tobacco products in their dormitories at all. Matter of fact, he got put on restriction because he had they found a receipt for a box of Skoal. And he just had the receipt. He didn't even have the box. He just had the receipt, and he got put on restriction. So they're doing that in the military too. So I just wanted you guys to know that.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else in our chambers that would like to address this topic before the council votes on it? Yes. Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please, or where you live.
I'm Betsy Jones. I live in Forest Oaks.
Yes.
And I'm currently a law student at St. Mary's. There are currently 7.3 million children alive in Texas. 500,000 of them will die prematurely because of smoking. Texas pays almost $9 billion per year in health costs directly from cigarettes. And that's not including health costs from secondhand smoke, smokeless tobacco, cigars, pipes, or fires caused by smoking. It also doesn't include over $8 billion in productivity losses. Working smokers are absent 2 extra days per year, and they're less productive when they're at work, not to mention having higher health care costs. The tax burden of American smoking on each household is $700 per year. That's $700 per year per household to cover the health costs of people who smoke. Excise taxes on tobacco don't come close to covering the cost that we pay. We have the tools to greatly reduce these health costs. Since 2005, 360 cities have raised their tobacco age to 21, and they've seen drastic reductions in their numbers of adult smokers and associated costs. Prevention is a science, and Tobacco 21 is an evidence-based strategy. Cities with T21 have fewer tobacco-related costs and healthier populations. Healthy teens become healthy adults, healthy parents, and a healthy, productive workforce. Healthy people buy more gas and groceries. Healthy people spend more on entertainment and home improvement. They own more homes and buy more cars. They consume fewer resources in emergency response and law enforcement. Public health is profitable. Many people argue that an 18-year-old who can join the military and go to war should be able to choose to smoke. Joining the military is a career choice. It's a decision that lasts 2 to 4 years and opens doors to careers and education for young adults. A decision to smoke, made before the brain is capable of weighing long-term consequences, opens the door to a life of addiction, chronic illness, and early painful death. Nicotine rewires the teen brain to seek out stimulants and other addictive substances for life. This is not the equivalent of joining the Army. I work in the field of addiction. A large part of my job involves opioid misuse prevention and harm reduction. We are desperate as a country to curb the opioid crisis, which kills more than 42,000 Americans every year. The tobacco crisis kills 480,000 Americans every year. That's more than opioids, guns, alcohol, and car crashes combined.
Okay.
Unlike the opioid crisis, we have a proven tool that greatly reduces the harms of tobacco. Please pass the Tobacco 21 ordinance for Leon Valley. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate those comments. All right. Anyone else? Yes, please come forward and state your name and address, or where you live in the area.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Saavedra. I'm with the American Heart Association. I'm here on behalf of our members and volunteers that live here in Leon Valley. I just want to say thank you for considering this. As the American Heart Association, our mission is to reduce heart attacks and strokes, and tobacco is definitely one of the leading causes of that for our community, and so we really appreciate the leadership of the city in considering this. Just a couple of things I wanted to point out. You know, obviously the alcohol age to buy beer is 21, and age to buy a gun and a handgun is over 18. You know, you have to be over 21 to rent a car, to get a hotel room, to gamble. So there's a lot of things in our society that we've decided as a society that raising the age is necessary because of gambling's addictive, and so people become addicted to that. And so nicotine, as you all know, is one of the most highly addictive substances. And as a father of 2 young kids in elementary school, one of the things that's really scary to me is the epidemic of e-cigarettes and e-cigarette use among our youth. And now they look like little thumb drives that look like USBs, and people are vaping in classrooms, and teachers are telling us. And I think that's a lot of the stuff we hear from educators and from superintendents is that vaping is just taking off, and folks think it's healthy. It's just water vapor. It's being marketed as gummy bear and all these flavors. That doesn't have any health impact, but people are getting addicted to nicotine through the e-cigarettes, and then they go off and start smoking regular cigarettes. And so I think things like Tobacco 21 is what's going to help to try to get back that teen smoking rate back down, where it was going down and down and down and down, and all of a sudden e-cigarettes came on the scene, and now we're seeing those numbers go right back up. And so a policy like Tobacco 21 is exactly the type of thing that cities all across the nation are doing. We strongly support this for the city of Leon Valley, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Jerry. Do appreciate those words. All right. Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Blackmore. You sure? You certainly have an opportunity if you'd like to say a few.
I'll probably get, no.
Okay. Okay, there you go. To be continued.
Everything you've heard from these people is nothing but BS. Absolute BS. People are getting older. They're going to have heart attacks. Today, there's less people smoking than ever before. Talk about narcotics, drugs. This is another drug. Yeah, so is alcohol. So is a lot of things. While I was in the military, I worked narcotics. I put a lot of people away for heroin, marijuana, all the other stuff. This is absolutely ridiculous. No one should have the right. City council should not have the right to tell people when they can buy whatever. It's not going to help. This is a waste of time, waste of money. You're taking your money in. You talk about Congress. Getting those letters, they weigh in those letters. Well, that's fine. We have some good, honest, I believe, congressmen are working for us. But there are others, and some people, they follow their own agenda. They don't care about the people of the state of Texas or the people of these United States. All they care about is their party. And that's wrong. Now, we have this stuff that started in California, New Jersey, New York, and it sounds in Austin, San Antonio. It should not be here in Leon Valley. This is Leon Valley, Texas. Texas, not California, not New York or Austin. And thank you again for letting me talk.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Blackmore. All right. Yes, Councilor Jordan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Initially, when this item came to the council, I was sort of torn between what to do on this issue, but being in the military for 25 years, when I initially came in, people used to smoke in the work section, and people used to smoke at will all the time. But when I retired after 25 years, that culture had changed. And like the gentleman said already, that there was tobacco-free facilities. If you smoked, you had to go all the way across the street. And in actuality, as soon as you come in the military, if you do smoke, they send you to smoking cessation classes and other classes to try to get you to keep you from smoking. So the culture has changed, attitude has changed. The health benefits, the health detriment to your health is able to be recorded now. And primarily, basically, since I watched my mother pass away from lung cancer. She smoked since she was 15 years old, and then she had tongue cancer as a result of smoking. So I'm going to be in favor of this as a result of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else?
Just
Yes,
one added
Councilor.
factor I don't recall being mentioned, but the people suffering from who've never smoked, but they had a partner or a parent who smoked, and they have suffered and died from lung cancer and other diseases caused by smoking. There's nothing, absolutely nothing pleasant that's smoked, from smoking, that you get from smoking. Just personal satisfaction, and personally, I think people who smoke are often selfish because you have to walk by them They never care that they're blowing it in your face or where they are, or if they have 4 heart attacks and still keep smoking. That's not a good thing. Most people are a little smarter than that and give it up, but some don't. I have a stepdaughter who's a nurse who had to take care of a man with carrying around oxygen, and she had to allow him to smoke even though it's what had caused it, and he could blow them up. Didn't make any sense to me. So I move that we approve 8.1 as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Jordan to approve ordinance 8.1 regarding the tobacco 21 issue as presented. Ms. Pasale, let's take a roll call vote, please.
Councilor Edwards?
Aye.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Not in favor.
Yea or nay?
Nay.
Councilor Alcacer?
Aye.
Councilor Martinez?
Nay.
Councilor Jordan?
Aye.
All right. The vote is 3 in favor and 2 against, and the motion, the ordinance does pass. Okay. Thank you all very much. I thought it was a really good discussion, and we will then move on to ordinance number 8.2. Ms. Pasale, if you'll please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley, Texas City Council granting a specific use permit for indoor entertainment facility at Lot 10, Block 1, Bandera Center, Unit 4A, Leon Valley, Bexar County, Texas, generally located at the south side of Northwest Loop 410, approximately 800 feet east of Bandera Road, providing for repealer, severability clause, savings, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This is our second reading, and good evening, Mr. Milan from our Community Development Director.
Good evening, Madam
Is there
Council.
any updated information from the last presentation?
No, ma'am. No updates or changes.
All right. So if there's no updated changes, are there any additional questions? If not, what's the pleasure of the council on 8.2?
I move that we approve 8.2 as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Rodriguez to approve 8.2 as presented, the SUP. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Leon Valley. Yes, I appreciate it. Yes, we look forward to going by and when you're open. Thank you. Moving then to ordinance number 8.3. Ms. Pasale, if you'll please read that ordinance. Thank you.
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley, Texas City Council authorizing a budget adjustment, amending the general fund of the City of Leon Valley, Texas municipal budget for fiscal year 2018-2019 in the amount of $361,005 to complete funding of the Evers Road Bridge, Huebner Road Sewer Main Extension, and Wurzbach Exchange Parkway traffic signal system projects.
Thank you. Welcome, Melinda Mortz, our Public Works Director. We're glad you're here this evening. Is there any updated information on this particular ordinance from last meeting?
No, Mayor, there's not.
Okay. All right. So what's the pleasure of the council on this ordinance?
I make a motion we approve this as read.
Okay.
I second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor. Okay. We have a motion by Councilor Martinez and a second by Councilor Alcacer to approve ordinance 8.3 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you. Moving then to the regular agenda. Agenda item number 1 is the first reading as required by our city charter. Ms. Pasale, would you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance of the City of Leon Valley, Texas City Council authorizing the negotiation and execution of a lease agreement with the Northwest Senior Citizens Club organization for the lease of the Leon Valley Community Center located at 6427 Evers Road, Leon Valley, Texas, providing for repealer, severability clause, and savings clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Good evening again, Ms. Kinsler, and you are here to present this item to the council and to our citizens.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, citizens. Yes, I am. So we actually currently are in a lease agreement with the Northwest Seniors for use of the community center, and that agreement is set to expire December the 31st. And so we wanted to go ahead and get a new lease agreement in place with your blessing. And the purpose of this presentation is to discuss and consider that new lease agreement. The term of the new agreement would be from January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020, or a period of 2 years. So there's very few modifications to the lease from the last lease that you saw. So what I did during this presentation is just showed you what was different and put it in red. So second paragraph, first page, the seniors are the ones that are proposing this change, and it's under premises. And the change is in there, says the Leon Valley Community Center and parking lot. The second proposed modification, both parties agree to, and it's in the fourth paragraph, the first page, and it says lessee shall be given notice within a reasonable amount of time, 30 days notice if possible, once such event is scheduled. And so that's just put in there twice. We just, put in a number of days. The third proposed modification that we both were fine with is that we changed the setup and breakdown day to Wednesday, because that's when we're doing it anyway, so we just made it right. C statement, by providing seniors activities on a community level, this benefits all the citizens. Economic development, allowing our seniors to organize their own programs, saves the city money by not having to hire a program director. Environmental stewardship, providing a community center that's close to where seniors live, can reduce air pollution by them not having to drive long distance to find activities for them to do. Fiscal impact, it's in your lease, but basically the city waives about $95,000. The seniors agree to pay $120 a month. That's for the daily activities, and what this is a cleanup fee. So the fiscal impact, although when you look at the two numbers, that's extreme, there's really no fiscal measure to the quality of life that having such a facility offers the seniors that we all very much treasure. So staff recommends the second and third edits, but the staff recommends that the first edit not be approved due to the activities sometimes necessary for operation of the impound lot. I don't think that one is even going to be a big deal this year, because we think that we can change we can't change the Thursday of the impound lot, but we think we can change it so that it doesn't it's not on the last Wednesday. Is that when your luncheon is? No. Yeah, so that we're going to try to schedule our auctions not on the fourth Thursday. And then the first edit wouldn't even be necessary. But if something did happen and we needed it, and we needed to start using that, like it's happened a few times here, we needed to start using that parking lot to get stuff ready for the auction, that half of that parking lot, it could happen again. And that's why staff is not recommending that first change that says and parking lot. Because of the income that you're receiving off of those auctions, we want to make sure that we continue to, it offsets some of these programs that you're able to actually fund. But I don't think it's going to be a problem, because Chief Salvaggio has met with Miss Jonas and the crew and the Golden Girls, and they all agree that if we did it another day, it would work.
Okay. Will we be able to give them notice of when the auction's going to be prior
Absolutely.
to
We
it,
give
so
them
that
notice.
they can plan for that?
Yeah, we give them notice now.
Right.
But
and I understand we're not going to try to do it the 4th, because
exactly, we're just going to try to stay away from that day.
Right, and so if we move it to another Thursday, first, second, or third, then that would not interfere with
Exactly. And Chief Salvaggio does not, unless we had an influx and the auctioneer wasn't available and we had an emergency and we needed to do that, and we did require, half of that parking lot starting at 3:00 p.m. We just don't want to exclude that because we've got the Thursday nailed down with the auctioneer. And the beautiful thing about it is that it follows the San Antonio auction on Wednesday, so they announce that the auction will be moving to Leon Valley on Thursday, and that's what's bringing our customers in.
Right.
And you've seen the revenues that thing brings in. But very few modifications to the lease. I I don't know if Ms.
Okay,
Jonas.
I'd like
would you
Ms. Jonas. Ms. Jonas, could you come to the podium? Ms. Shirley Jonas is the president of the Northwest Senior Citizens Group and does a terrific job. Thank you.
Yes, and I do live in
Leon Valley, you sure do.
6523, Sally Aggie. We had a problem where they brought the cars in on a Tuesday afternoon, so they were already there in the Wednesday time when the people were showing up for lunch and meeting, and they were told they could not park there. This is what started it all, by bringing them already on Tuesday. And we're not against the auction at all. Just don't park until after 3 o'clock on a Wednesday so the seniors can park close by. You all know about the bridge out there and where they had their trailer and all their equipment parked in the parking lot from the community center to the library. And seniors couldn't park in all of that property. In September, some of them showed up. Everything was taken, and they left. And, of course, I got to hear about it. They couldn't find close parking. They were not parking at the conference center. So this is why I came up with the idea of having the parking lots included. You can do anything you want after 3 o'clock on a Wednesday, but don't park in the back until after 3 o'clock. The seniors are usually out from 2:30 to 3 already, but please don't do anything until after 3 o'clock.
Okay, so is that a reasonable request, Ms. Kinsler? I mean, I don't know. I'm just wanting to hear both sides here.
95% of the time, it's absolutely a reasonable request, and we've already worked it out to where that there's not even going to be an auction during the luncheons anymore, so I don't think it's an issue. But you have to realize we had the bridge construction going on, so that's going to go away. That's going to clear up all of that. That's not going to happen anymore. And when we had the auction that Ms. Jonas is referring to, it was complete chaos in there because they were right in the middle between the weather and the equipment for that and the equipment for the bridge. It was a mess.
Okay.
But yes, that's absolutely reasonable. In fact, I think almost every auction, that is what we've done. And then the other thing, if something were to happen and it were to be overwhelming, well, actually, they've never, according to Chief Salvaggio, that first row in the back, no, they've never parked there. It's the
right
back,
behind the back door?
Yeah, it's the back part of the parking lot that they start to set up in. And that's just because if we don't, then we run across more expense. We start looking at overtime for people that have to stay late because they won't be ready for the next day. So we have to look at the big fiscal picture. Right. And when I look at that big fiscal picture, it helps us offset these costs by having creative programs that actually generate revenue that aren't from our citizens. And the impound lot's a good example.
But the bottom line is, Ms. Jonas, if we don't have the auction on the 4th Thursday of the month, then we're okay. We will not be interfering with y'all. And that's something that I spoke with Chief, and thank you for exploring that as well. So just to try to make it a win-win.
Exactly.
It
sounds like we already have.
Yeah, and just, I mean, I know it looks like a lot of money, but just institutional background, this whole community center was built from a CDBG grant, and we have to, if we're a participant in CDBG grant, we have to continue this senior citizen, is my understanding, with other uses too, is what I understood.
Yeah, it was, my understanding from Denise is that it was for 25 years.
That's not what I had emailed y'all. From Miss Baldridge gave me some information.
I remember that, but
and that's what I always thought. It was 25 years, but it said 5 years after.
It's 5 years after you're no longer part of the county or a metropolitan city.
Okay.
So actually, we're not going to be doing any of that. No. So we'll still be under the CDBG compliance rules, the federal rules. And if we were to ever stop being part of the county, then it would be 5 years after that date. For non-governmental entities that enter in, that receive CDBG funds, it's 5 years after the date of the subrecipient agreement expires.
Okay.
So we're still in compliance with CDBG regulations. And like I told the mayor, that if we ever wanted to change the use, and there's rules for that. So we can get into that at that point, but right now we're still CDBG.
Right.
Anybody
And I
wants to
believe
change
this
the
is what, our
use.
30th year to be
30th?
operating?
Wow.
I mean, it's a long time. Mayor Baldridge is the one who, and she was 84 to 1994 was the mayor. So I think it was early in her tenure as mayor. So she got the CDBG grant. So it's been a long time. And so I think it really provides a great community service. It provides the seniors camaraderie and support and love. And
absolutely,
Shirley, you do a great job because y'all love to travel and gamble and and I mean, they have a great time. So I think it's wonderful. I really, really do, and I certainly support the seniors. Yes, Councilor Martinez.
I'm just glad, Mayor, that you mentioned about we got the community center from a CBD grant for the seniors. One thing I just wondered, I'm trying to think outside the box, if the back is used for the auction, couldn't we make an exception and allow them to park in front or in the side of the buildings where they can have, we have, a lot of people that are in their 80s and 90s that come to those things, and they could even just park right in front of the thing for one day or for a couple hours.
Mayor, Councilor Martinez, I think that's an excellent suggestion. It's actually, we talked about that because they already do park in the front, but we were talking about some of those spaces are so wide, we could actually make more spaces in the front because we've got that handicap door on the front as well. If that need comes. Right now, I don't think there's a need because we're not going to do the auctions the same day as the lunches anymore. So I think it's really a moot point.
But I think we can
but if it
have a
came up to
win-to-win
it, I think it's
for
a good
both of us.
idea. Yes, sir.
Good suggestion. Okay. Anything else on the lease? Yes, Councilor Alcacer.
This is just on the parking. When we had the first couple of days of early voting, there wasn't a parking place. And the weekend of the 27th, there were 4 events plus early voting going on. And, everybody found parking. But, so I think it's there. It's just the way it's utilized, it needs to be.
Okay.
Mayor, Councilor Alcacer, you just brought up a really good point that I forgot, actually sitting up there in my notes. That was the other reason that I thought that was a bad idea, is because there are events that go on from time to time. You think about the taxes that are done there, voting, and so to rope it off and say you can't park here because they have exclusive use from this time to this time, that would be an administrative nightmare. And so that's right. That's another reason there's just no reason to put that in there. We've worked it out together. And so we don't end up, having issues when it's time for voting with Bexar County or whatever.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from either the dais or any of our citizens or guests in the chambers?
I had one
Yes,
question
I'm
that
sorry.
that's been asked many times, and I don't recall ever having an answer. How many of the seniors that come actually live in Leon Valley?
Not all of them. I don't know the percentage, but at one time I was vice.
Oh, I know. We are recording, so I would hate not to get a good record, and we do have people online that need to hear.
I'm sorry, I can't give you the percentage, but for 2 years I was membership chairman, and I know we have members from Bernie, Helotes, out 471, zip code 0112. They're all over the city because they enjoy our center. They really enjoy what's there and what's provided for them. So they tell all their friends about them, and they come join us. We have about a 300 membership.
Right.
And I have to compliment the city manager. She has been putting in the e-news about all our activities, and we're finding and hearing from people that have lived in Leon Valley for years, and they didn't know what we were doing over there. So they're joining us now. They even got tables for the trash and treasure on the October date, and they're coming to bingo. And I was telling people earlier, don't mess with bingo players. They're a Wednesday afternoon. They're a fierce group. So, again, I can't tell you the exact number, but I'd say the majority are in this area, but there are people from all over our area.
Right. There's a good number from Leon Valley.
Yes, definitely.
Right. There, but again, it was a county-wide grant, too, that started it. So, yes, exactly. Okay, very good. Well, thank you, and continue the good work. We're so glad that you're the leader. All righty, take care. And this is not to be voted on tonight, so we will take up the second read at the next meeting. Yes. So, with that, we'll move then to agenda item number 9.2. Before I read the caption, I just wanted to let you know that we've heard from State Representative Justin Rodriguez, who was not able to be here this evening due to the election, but would request action from the council this evening due to the time-sensitive nature of the event. So I just wanted to say that before I read the caption. Discuss and consider possible action on an in-kind grant request by Representative Justin Rodriguez for use of the Leon Valley Community Center at 6427 Evers Road for their 2018 District 125 holiday party. And we have Maribel Mendoza here this evening to present.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening and
Council.
welcome.
Thank
Yes.
you. So Representative Justin Rodriguez is requesting an in-kind grant for the use of the Leon Valley Community Center Wednesday, December 12th for their 2018 District 125 holiday party. Their setup time and event are proposed from 3:30 to 8:30. And the purpose of this event is to thank the constituents that have been part of District 125 and who have volunteered in the district. So the request is for the waiver of rental fees. Representative Justin Rodriguez and his office have already paid the deposit, cleanup, and security for the event. This would be their third request for the assistance under the in-kind grant program. The City of Leon Valley granted in 2016 and also in 2017. The fiscal impact would be $200 because they are a nonprofit, so it reduces the price. And it does follow our C statement. So the committee forwards a recommendation of approval to council with a score of 18 out of 24, which was a minimum requirement. And again, City Council's discretion to waive the rental fees.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, any questions for Ms. Maribel Mendoza on this particular agenda item? Yes, Councilor Alcacer.
Information, it looked like they were requesting more, but the $200 is what we.
Correct, based on the new policy, correct, yes,
Right.
ma'am.
I just want to make a note that somebody on the October 27th, when we had all of the, the four-ring circus with everything going on in one day, she came up to me and she said, "Oh, Mayor, I'll see you on December 12th." And I said, "What's December 12th?" She goes, "Justin Rodriguez's party." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, I mean, a lot of people do look forward to his
Correct,
annual
yes,
event.
ma'am.
So I just want to let y'all know. I thought that was really, so mark your calendars. Yeah. Yes, Councilor Martinez.
Just FYI, he's up 25K to 5K. So he's leading right now, early voting.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you were talking about. Okay.
He wants to tell us it's not his last party.
Yeah, there you go. All right, very good. So, any other questions, comments? Yes.
Yeah.
All
way
right.
ahead.
And so, what is the pleasure then of the council on this particular agenda item?
Make a motion that we provide this in-kind grant.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilor Edwards and a second by Councilor Jordan to approve the in-kind grant request by Representative Justin Rodriguez as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you so much. Appreciate your work on this, Ms. Mendoza. Then moving then to regular agenda item number 3, discuss and consider possible action on a resolution of the City of Leon Valley, Texas City Council making appointments to the City of Leon Valley Zoning Commission and Sign Code Update Advisory Committee. And we have Sandra Pasole, our City Secretary, here to present. Thank you and welcome.
Good evening. In your packet, you have the applications for 3 new members for the Sign Update Advisory Committee. You have Ruth Spinosa de Ramos with the Leon Valley Cafe, and then Tina Chasen and Amy Modding. If you were to appoint these three, you'd still have one vacancy to fill. That would complete the committee.
I would just like to say, we have really been at this for a long time, so I would just recommend to my colleagues, if you're in agreement, if we appoint these three to the sign committee, we should go ahead and get started.
Yes, they would definitely have a quorum.
We'd have a quorum, and then we can always try to get one. And I have really, really tried, but people are, just, the time commitment is not there right now. So that would be what I would like to add to the discussion.
So can we vote on this first?
There is one resolution for both the committees tonight. So I can move on to the next one.
Okay.
The next
Excuse
is
me. I just want to make sure. Is there anybody else that had a comment on the sign advisory committee before we moved on?
This is just for the sign advisory committee for now, right? Appointing these three.
Right. Just for these three. We need three more, and we're still lacking one. But at least we'll have a good committee that can start doing their work that they need to do. But it's attached together to the zoning. Is there any way we could split it?
You can. Yes, you can. I can recreate it.
I think that might be a little cleaner and simpler, personally.
Sure.
So, okay.
So I
Would you
make
like
a
to move?
motion that we approve those.
Your mic is not on.
For the.
Your mic.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I make a motion that we approve the three recommended for the sign committee tonight.
And is
I'll
there a
second that.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Martinez to approve the three applicants for the Sign Code Update Advisory Committee as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion does carry. Then moving then to the Zoning Commission. Ms. Pasolay.
Yes, ma'am. The commissioner, as the Code of Ordinances requires, the commissioner of the Zoning Committee is recommending that Hillary Huber be moved up into a vacant member position, and that would leave you the Mr. David Maloof to move up from the alternate 3 position into the first alternate. And then you're going to have the second and third alternate vacancies. You received 4 applications for those 2 vacancies. One of them is in your packet, but he is not a resident of Leon Valley, which it is required that you be a resident to be on the zoning commission. So that one is pretty much, it's just in there to show that you did get the application. But then you had 3 others come in. You had Tina Chasen, how do you say her name? Sorry.
Robledo.
Yes, Robledo, and then Miss Sherry Fow. Correct.
Mayor, with those names out there, I would just want to bring something to light to the City Council before the appointment of any new members to the Zoning Commission are made by the Council. Currently, in my professional opinion, I think it's a conflict of interest to appoint Ms. Robledo to the Zoning Commission or any other city board or commission as far as that goes, based on the fact that she's currently in dispute with the city over a zoning code issue. And now she has implied by bringing up the fact that she either has or is in the process of getting an attorney to at least 5 of our staff members that I have statements from. So there may be future litigation between the city and Mrs. Robledo. I also believe there's a conflict or a potential conflict of interest for the appointment of Tina Chasen to the Zoning Commission at this time because she has a personal relationship in this conflict of interest that I just spoke of. She's also relayed to staff her dissatisfaction with the code enforcement of the property in dispute and our enforcing of our city zoning code and regulations with regard to the property dispute. And so I've spoken to the city attorney about this because I just wanted to make sure that I brought this up to you, and I believe she's in agreement with what I just said. I don't know if you have anything to add.
I don't really have anything to add in that, but that I do feel like it is a conflict of interest. The zoning board is regulated by Chapter 171 of the Texas Local Government Code, which governs conflicts of interest. Because Ms. Robledo has a property and a business interest, she's already under a conflict, she's already has a conflict of interest before she's even appointed. So if she ever gets appointed, if that subject ever comes up, she would not be able to vote on that subject. She would have to file an affidavit. If she did vote on it, if she did discuss it, there would be criminal penalties associated with that. So that's the only thing I have to add at this point.
Okay.
Can
Yes,
I-
go ahead, Dr. Edwards.
So anybody who
Counselor
has a
Edwards.
business can't be on the,
No, I'm not saying that if they have a business, but because she already has a conflict of interest as far as her property, there's an issue with regard to her property. There's an issue with regard to the business that's on that property. So she's batting 1,000 on Chapter 171 with regard to her property and the conflict of interest that's already there.
could she recuse herself?
She could recuse herself. She has to file an affidavit if she's appointed, if that subject comes up. But based on what we've heard from staff, that's one of the main reasons why she wants to be on the zoning commission.
There's a dispute about her business, and I have affidavits from staff members about them suing the city of Leon Valley, and so it just seems to me that that's a direct conflict when you're going to sue or threatening to sue the city of Leon Valley and then appointing somebody to your board. So I just wanted to make sure that you all, bring it to light and that we all were on the same page.
She would have to have, I'm sorry, Mayor and Council, just wanted to add to what Ms. Gensler said, that if there's litigation between us and her, she has a fiduciary duty if she's appointed to the board, to the city of Leon Valley, wherein she could not sue the city of Leon Valley being on the board. She would have to resign from the board if things don't work out. It's not just the conflict of interest with her situation with our zoning code, but if she's gonna file a lawsuit, there would definitely be a conflict of interest if she sued us.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. She has not filed a lawsuit, and she's told me personally she's not going to file a lawsuit. So I just wanted to clarify that but I understand there's a pending issue with her business, and it's complicated. So I will grant you that. And if she were to be appointed, she wouldn't be able to, I don't think she'd be able to even, vote or anything on that. I mean, she would have to recuse herself. But just for the record, she has told me she is not going to sue the city of Leon Valley. She wants to work. Where's Mr. Milan? She wants to work with the city. I mean, he and I have talked over the weeks, and she wants to work and try to work this thing out. She's got a consultant, so she's earnestly trying to get this business rectified and zoned and certificate of occupancy so she can to do that business. So I just wanted that on the record. Yes, Mr.
If I
Martinez.
understand, we have 4 vacancies. One doesn't live outside, one lives outside the city, so that gives us 3. And then we have
There's 2
one.
vacancies.
Huh?
There's just
I
2
know.
vacancies.
There's 2 vacancies, but we have 4 people applying for them. One lives outside the city. That disqualifies them. We have this one with a possible issue, so that leaves 2 people left. So then I'd like to make a motion, we accept the 2 people as presented.
Excuse me.
Yes.
That's not what was said. There's one with a direct conflict, and actually there's probably 2 with a conflict due to the association of a family member living at that property. So, to me, it wouldn't make sense until this situation is rectified to appoint somebody to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Even if they were appointed, if the results of the city's enforcement of the code is not satisfactory to that person, and they do decide to sue the city, if they have to resign, then we're back to square one again to have to appoint 1 or 2 more people to the board. So why not just wait till the situation gets rectified and see if everything's clear and free? And then when we appoint them to the board, there should not be any issues at that point. So there's a direct conflict with the business, with the issue's already started with the city. It's not coming up. It's already started. So, and the conversation has already started, and so it don't make sense to me to appoint them to the board when we have to potentially, they might have to resign the board to proceed with whatever direction they decide to go.
Excuse me,
Okay, yes.
is that related
Counselor
to?
Edwards.
Is that related to Ms. Chason also, or she's not? There's some kind of issue with her in litigation, or?
I don't think so. Yes, Counselor. I thought you had encouraged her to vote to apply.
Well,
so
I
yes,
did
you
encourage
did.
her, but I didn't realize that this was, she just kept saying she has a problem with it, and I said, well, apply, and yes, I did do that, but after I subsequently learned that there is a conflict, because she lives at the residence of Leticia Robledo. Her mother does.
Her mother.
And she was very intent on, she was very intense in saying that Ms. Robledo had done virtually nothing wrong, and I'm not saying wrong or right, but it is a conflict, and I just think it would behoove us at this time not to only do the Sherry Faw one and wait until the issue is resolved, and if one or two spots are open still, then Ms. Chason and or Ms. Robledo can come on. But their whole purpose, it seems to come on, was to make things work for them, and that's what I learned subsequently, and I didn't realize that was the problem.
I had a question for our city attorney. What is the conflict equals money? It has to be related to money, and I understand Ms. Robledo, because this is a $100,000, facility that she's trying to, get up and running. What about the conflict with Ms. Chason? How is that if she's not paying?
The conflict that I'm talking about under Chapter 171 only applies to board members, like on the zoning commission. So if she were a board member, it would apply to her. But what we're talking about right now is a conflict of interest, is an ethical, it's an appearance of impropriety, because she has an issue with the city that's fairly serious with regard to her property and her business.
Okay, that's Ms. Robledo.
That's
I met Ms. Chason, because I think we already.
The conflict with Ms. Chason that I see is the fact that her mother is there. She has an interest in keeping her mother in that home. She's happy with her there, but her conflict has to do with the interest of the appearance of impropriety in that way as well. Her being on the zoning commission, she would, because she doesn't have an interest in the property or the business under 171, she would be allowed to vote on the issue of Ms. Robledo's home if it comes up on the zoning commission. But she has an interest in her being in that home succeeding, or in that business succeeding, or in that business getting what it wants under the zoning code.
Okay, so she can't be appointed and then say you can't vote on that one particular issue.
We can't prevent her from voting on that particular issue because her interest in the situation under 171 does not apply to her, because she doesn't have a beneficial interest as far as monetarily, or a property interest.
Okay.
Those are the two prongs of the Chapter 171.
Okay, yes. Councilor Edwards.
So the head of the commission couldn't say to her, you have to recuse yourself? So the head of the zoning commission couldn't say to her, you have to recuse yourself on this matter?
Ms. Chason?
Yeah.
No.
They could not direct her to do that?
No.
Yeah, that's Too bad that we can't fill up the zoning commission because they've got this very important work that's not, I mean, this is a small little sliver compared to, everything else that they're dealing with. So anyway.
But maybe by next month it'll be resolved and we'll be right back here and it'll be easy. I just don't think right now is, I just wanted to offer my professional
Up to the
opinion and
council,
that it's a conflict, but it's your decision.
Okay, well, it's up to the council, I agree. And as a counselor, I've been approached directly by both individuals who's very adamant that the city is wrong in their opinion, and they're very much determined to prove that point. So I think, once again, it would be not a good idea for us to appoint them to the commission at this particular time until everything's cleared up. If everything's cleared up next month, they want to apply, then that would be great. But once again, why would we appoint them to the commission if they have a conflict of interest, the decision from the city is not to their liking, they decide to sue, and both of them resign from the board, and we're back here with the same conversation with two different people and starting from square one.
Okay.
So Sandra, was the motion completed, and is it on the floor that we have to deal with?
We didn't have a second.
There has not been a motion made.
Yeah, Mr. Martinez did.
You started to, but stopped. You didn't actually say, you said you'd like to make a motion and you just stopped.
Yeah, Councilor Jordan
Interrupted me.
interrupted you, your motion, and you didn't complete it, so.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we appoint Sherry Faw to the, one of the available alternate positions and let the two, Ms. Robledo and Ms. Chason, I don't think there's a need for them to reapply, but when the issue is resolved, I think we can bring it back to council.
So keep them on the pending list, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilor Alcacer and a second by Councilor Jordan to appoint Sherry Faw to the second alternate position in the Zoning Commission and to place Letitia Robledo and Tina Chason's applications in pending for future consideration. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion does carry. I'm going to start doing those roll call votes because I can't tell who's doing what. Yes, Councilor Martinez. I'm assuming that was unanimous.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just have a question. Why can't somebody check 2 or 3 different boxes at commissions and just have one application? You guys can always make copies if need be. It'd be a lot easier for our residents to be able to just fill out one piece of paper and submit it.
And what you're pertaining to is Ms. Pusley has a consideration or a guideline that if, say, I'm Chris Riley and I want to apply to zoning, Board of Adjustment, and Park, I have to have 3 separate applications. And you're saying, why can't we do it all on one? So,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah,
Ready?
that's it.
All right.
Ready.
The reason that was started, and that was just started about 6 months ago, was
Yeah.
because we were having people that were marking several boxes and their application would be missed on a certain board. So I think the mayor and I discussed that, and it was, I don't know if it was you. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm
Well,
mistaken.
no, I just
but
remember that we forgot somebody.
we did. And so
Yeah,
this
yeah.
helps us eliminate that oversight. And it does go into a binder for each committee. So I'm going to make the copy anyway. So it just keeps it cleaner. And it
I'm
keeps
just
us from
thinking
making
of the
mistakes.
residents. It'd be a lot easier for the residents if we talk them into joining and they want to join 2 committees, Parks Commission and, the library or, one of the other ones. They can just check it and be done.
It's a very easy application.
know.
I don't think
But
that's an issue. And the other did come up, because I said this, and we even recently, another one was overlooked for other reasons, so you can't, I would rather keep it like
Okay,
we're
yeah,
doing.
this is not on topic, so we need to move on, but thank you. No, that's okay. I mean, it kind of is related, but it's still not related, so, okay. All right, so we'll just continue that and try to encourage people to apply 1 application per board. All right, moving then to regular agenda number 9.4. This is the first reading, and Ms. Postley, if you'll please read the ordinance.
It's a resolution, Mayor.
I'm sorry, resolution, but it says, it's an ordinance authorizing ARCA. Number 494.
I'm
Yes.
so sorry. I'm
Okay,
on
that's
3.
okay. I thought,
It's been a
I thought I
long
was
day.
reading it right, but okay.
All
thank
right,
you.
let's do
All
that again.
right. That's okay. We're still
Okay.
learning. I mean, it's been almost a
Well, you
year,
know,
but
this
we're
one's
still
kind of
learning, but
hit
we're
and
getting it
miss.
down.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
okay.
An ordinance approving a budget adjustment in the amount of $100,000 from the stormwater fund balance to purchase materials to construct a parking lot in the Shadow Mist Park located at 5487 Shadow Mist Drive, providing for repeal or severability and savings clauses, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Moritz. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor and
Yes.
Council. I appreciate
You
it.
bet.
We are still learning. If you'll look at the heading on your M&C, it has a different number. I was trying to get this into the system really fast, and the heading missed me.
Oh,
So-
goodness. Yeah.
But we'll go through the PowerPoint. So this item is to consider an ordinance authorizing either diagonal street parking or an ordinance authorizing a budget adjustment in the amount of $100,000 from the stormwater fund balance to purchase materials for the construction of a parking lot at Shadow Mist Park. And this is to comply with a court-ordered Rule 11 agreement to provide temporary parking spaces for ARCA Inc., which is the soccer facility at 5504 Shadow Mist. Over the past several years, the city has been trying to gain code compliance with the soccer field development. The complex and the city reached an agreement, which is that Rule 11 agreement, and it stipulates that the city will consider by ordinance to allow for diagonal street parking along Shadow Mist Drive. The complex owner is going to provide the paint to mark the spaces, and then once the soccer facility is removed from the designated floodplain, the complex would construct their own parking lot on their lot. Since that agreement was reached, Bexar County Flood Control started their project, and the contractor is using 18-wheeler, the bottom dump trailers, to remove the soil from the project site at Heemner Creek. He was running about 450 trucks per day up and down Shadow Mist Drive, which is right where the diagonal parking was planned to be. And so it's not advisable to park any cars there. In addition to the truck traffic, the street has been damaged by these heavy truck trailers, and they've already had to repair it once in this spot. Street parking is not recommended at this time. The LC-17 contractor expects to complete the project by January, but until then, we're still going to have those trucks. If the proposed street parking ordinance is approved, then we would not recommend allowing any parking on the street until this project is complete. The zoning code requires that they provide one parking space for every 800 square foot of the soccer facility. And so with the one field, he was required 73 spaces. They only have 22. He's deficient by 51 spaces. If we did the street parking, the city could develop 33 spaces, but we would still be deficient by 18 spaces. We'd also have to revise the traffic and parking code to add no parking to the other side of Shadow Mist in that block. The Bexar County Flood Control Project will bring most of the facility property out of the floodplain, but not until FEMA approval is obtained, and that date is unknown at this time. It could take a year, it could take 2 years, I don't know how long. So this is where the proposed street parking would have been. Let's see if I can find the... Aha. So these are the diagonal spaces right along Shadow Mist. This is the soccer facility over here. The problem with this site plan is if they came down here, they would have to turn around in order to go back and park in these diagonal spots. This is the trailhead parking for the Greenway Trail that's in there. And you see this tight turn here? The soccer complex has a whole bunch of buses that drop kids off, and I'm afraid that they would not make that turn very well, or they would damage that parking facility that's already there. In addition to that, this is where we would have to put the no parking signs on this side. And then once the soccer complex goes ahead and does their own construction of a parking lot on their lot, all that would have to be removed. All this striping would have to be removed. The only thing that would be left there would be a sidewalk that would be along this side, which is fine. As I said, the concerns with the street parking, we would have to build a sidewalk along the soccer facility side of the street. It's actually 2 lots over there. This is its own lot, and it was a remaining portion of a lot that was left over from a long time ago. They were not required to replat that. And as you know, the replat is what triggers the sidewalk requirement to construct, either the replat or if they go over a certain monetary amount in a building permit. There's no building permit ever going to be issued for that lot unless they do some kind of utility construction. So they would never be required to put a sidewalk on that side. It would be up to the city. The striping paint is to be provided by the soccer facility, but the labor to install it and all the costs for the signage would be borne by the city. There's no assurance that only soccer facility users would be parking in those spaces unless we mark that on the curb. There is a hike and bike trail at the end of the street that has limited parking, so I'm afraid some of the hike and bike trail users would also park in these spots. The street parking, as I mentioned before, would result in vehicle turnarounds in the trailhead parking area, a lot of congestion on the street, and then the U-turns that would be executed at Shadow Mist and Avedisian. And that's this intersection right here. And we already have complaints from this neighborhood about the LC-17 project trucks turning around right in that intersection. We've had to stop them several times.
Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. Okay.
The alternative is that the city could develop the Shadow Mist Park parking lot as an alternative to street parking.
That my throat's
In
starting to get itchy.
2018, the council approved an agreement between the city and the LC-17 contractor for use of that lot to store soil in exchange for constructing a parking lot. So we already have the contractor that's going to do this parking lot for us. We just need to buy the materials. We had budgeted $60,000 last year to purchase pavers for the area, but as you know, the rain and everything else has delayed this contractor. Just as an aside, I spoke with him, we had a meeting. He has 160 rain days racked up. The project itself was only 530 days. He is swimming in water down there. So of that $60,000, all that money went just right back into the stormwater fund balance. It's still there. We didn't spend it. The engineering for this project is almost complete. The plans are being created, but we still need to acquire the materials. The parking lot, and this part, after I spoke with the contractor, he's actually going to be able to construct this parking lot in January. He is still confident that he is going to be able to finish the LC-17 project by January. So I was like, when did you need me to have the materials there? He said, if you can get me the materials by mid to the end of January, I'll start construction as soon as that soil's gone. So that's a great thing. And this is going to eliminate the dangers of the turnarounds at the trailhead area. It's going to take care of lots of the congestion on the street and no more U-turns at Shadow Mist and Avedisian. Development of the parking lot would remove the requirement for street parking, and that's going to make the people in Shadow Mist very happy. It would provide for 126 parking spaces, so that's more than ample to help out the soccer facility. Plus, it's also ample for us to help the Crystal Hills Park that's planned to go in there. And that was one of the agreements we made with the city of San Antonio, is that we would support that park. We would have to authorize a budget adjustment for the total completion. And this is what that parking lot would look like. And so these are all pavers where you see the pink and the red. This is asphalt coming into the parking lot. This is a large concrete drainage swale. This is the drain that comes from Shadow Mist subdivision, and we would have to carry that through down to the creek. These are the entrances off of Shadow Mist Drive right here. So that's 126 spaces we could provide. Depending on the choices made by council, the following costs. If we just did the street parking, the total would be about $24,519, but as I said, it would only provide 33 parking spaces. The funds for this can come from the budget that I have right now. There would be no extra expense. We already budgeted $25,000 for sidewalk construction. For the Shadow Mist parking lot, the engineering is $14,491, but we budgeted for that last year. The only thing that's missing from the engineering right now is a plan and a profile, and that's not going to cost us very much money. The construction would be by the contractor. The pavers, asphalt, and striping is going to come to about $100,000. The pavers alone, I went and got a cost estimate for them. It's 300 pallets of pavers, and it's $72,000 for those. The sidewalk is $25,000, and as I said, it's already funded. So the total would be about 139,491. So the budget adjustment that would be needed is for the 100,000. And again, it gives you 126 spaces. The stormwater fund balance as of September the 30th, and it, as you know, it's unaudited, is $900,000. And what we have in that stormwater budget for this year is $150,000 for the street sweeper and $60,000 for the bioswale at Raymond Rimkus Park. So we still have plenty of funds left over to do this project as well. And so our recommendation is to approve the ordinance authorizing the budget adjustment in the amount of $100,000 to get the materials to go ahead and construct that Shadow Mist Park parking lot. And then we'd enter into an agreement with the soccer facility owner for temporary use of that parking lot for his facility until he can build his own.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I had some questions. Were we going to apply for the San Antonio River Authority grant?
We were going to apply for it, and I talked to Jacob Alse at the San Antonio River Authority, and we didn't qualify for it last year.
We did not. Why not?
He said something about where it's at, located in proximity to the creek. And so what we ended up doing is just having permeable pavers instead. So it'll still do the silt removal.
Yeah.
And we're getting a great deal from the contractor because the work that he's going to do would probably equate to about $80,000 worth of work.
Okay. All right. Very good. So the 126 page. So the first proposal. I mean, we're just going to throw that out the window. That's not going to really work. We're really honing in on the second proposal.
I would
the
recommend
alternate is what I'm hearing.
One.
Okay. So we're going to have 126 spaces, and we're saying that the soccer people can park down there and then walk up. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am. They would walk right across the street.
Right. And then are we going to go ahead and put no parking on that Shadow Mist? Because
we can if the council...
well, because I think that's the complaint from the Shadow Mist residents is that they're always parking on both sides, up and down. So
well, this would eliminate them having to park up on both sides because it gives them plenty.
Hey, people, they don't want to walk. I mean, and it's too long to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's true. So that's why I'm saying I think I'd like this proposal, but I want those no parking signs because we're going to get it from the residents of Shadow
was just
Mist.
telling me, she goes, now remind them, Shadow Mist people couldn't park there either.
Well, that's right. Well, that's okay. I think that they don't want people to park there. So those are just my two. Oh, and also, do we have room for the skate bowl?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Cause,
this is only 1.5 acres, and that whole property is just about 3 acres.
Okay.
So we still got an acre and a
I
half
can't
left.
believe we're getting 126 spaces there.
I know, we did great.
I thought it was going to be like 25 or something.
And it's pretty.
Yeah, and it's permeable. Oh, I love it. So it's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, those are my questions. Anyone else? Yes, Councilor Alcacer.
Is the county going to... Thank you. Is the county going to make that extra extension, or is that more money that's going to have to come for the bioswale connection to the creek?
No, it's 100,000.
Is
You're
the
right.
county going to make
so
let's
Are they going to build it, or is that going to be an expense we have?
The contractor that's working the LC-17 project, he's the one who's going to do the construction. All we're doing is supplying the materials.
No, I'm asking the bioswale. You said it still have to be connected to the creek.
No. I was talking about the bioswale that we're going to put in Raymond Rimkus Park. I was referring to what money is going to come out of the stormwater fund balance that we have budgeted for this year. So it's $150,000 for the street sweeper.
Okay, no, ma'am, excuse me, but you look where you put the bioswale.
It's not on this property.
It's not in the middle of the parking lot?
This is a drainage area.
But is the drainage, something you said that we still have to make it extend to the creek?
All the way to the creek.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, all the way to the creek.
We need to extend this drain right here all the way down to the creek. And so this is like about, not even 50 feet. That's probably about 20 feet to the creek.
So is that going to be our expense too?
This is the limits of it right here. This is all we're doing.
But how is it going to connect to the creek then?
That's the creek edge. Right past our property line is the creek edge.
Okay.
So it'll just funnel right into it.
Okay, so we don't have to do extra there?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's what I was trying to clarify. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Questions? Now, Councilor Rodriguez had a really good point. On the regular agenda, item number 9.4, we have 80,000 on
Yes,
the,
that
and it
was the
needs to be,
mistake I was telling
needs
you
to be
about.
100,000,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? That's what we said. Okay.
If you
Just so
look in the
everybody knows.
recommendations, it'll have the dollar sign and a bunch of stars, because I didn't
Right,
have
you
the
didn't have it,
cost
so
at
it's
the time.
100,000, so.
So I apologize
okay.
for that.
Well, we're not going to vote on it this time, so next time we can correct it, right? Yeah, we'll fix it. So, okay. Any other questions for Ms. Moritz on this particular agenda item? All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, I don't know how y'all feel about those no parking signs, though. Maybe we could address it the next go-around.
The thing about that is they don't really affect shadow mist from that point from the lot. If it's, the no parking is down the other way, might be effective.
Well, I wanted it closer to their entrance, but anyway, I
Right,
guess
well,
we
that's
could.
what I mean,
Yeah,
from their
exactly.
entrance down, so they can always turn. But
Okay. All right. We do need to go back. I'm so sorry. We overlooked something on agenda item number 3 when we were making those appointments. Ms. Kinsler and Ms. Frederick pointed out that we needed to include in our motion that we moved Hillary Huber to place 2 and David Maloof to first alternate. So how would you like for us to do that? Just make a motion for just those 2 in addition to what we just did? That'd be all right?
Yes, ma'am, it's the chair's
moved.
recommendation.
Okay. All right.
And we need a
Second.
second.
And we have a second? All right. So we have a motion by Counselor Alcacer and a second by Counselor Martinez to appoint Hillary Huber, place 2, and David Maloof for first alternate on the Zoning Commission as recommended by the chair. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion does carry. Thank you all very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Did not want to overlook that. All right, we're moving then to regular agenda item number 9.5, discussion and possible action on audio, visual, and networking improvements at the Leon Valley Conference Center. And, oh, it says Sandra Postole.
She put it in because it was a council member's request.
Okay, so, all right, so Ms.
But I can punt it to her,
Caldera
though.
is here, and this is at the request of 2 counselors, Counselor Alcacer and Counselor Jordan. If you'll continue, thank you and welcome.
Sure, not a problem.
You bet.
So the purpose of this item is to review and provide direction to staff on upgrading the audio, visual, and networking equipment at the Leon Valley Conference Center. Y'all were all there for the coffee. We had some technical difficulties. And so the biggest thing that I saw personally over there is the laptop needs to be upgraded. When I was uploading Turning Point PowerPoints the night before, I think I was here till like 9 or 10 o'clock because the computer kept shutting down. And so the laptop, I mean, it's a pretty old laptop. I think we bought it the first time Christy was here, so it's time to be replaced. She also put in the projector at that time as well. The bulb is going dim. It needs to probably, at minimum, that probably needs to be fixed, and that's a couple $100. But we also have problems, and we've had problems for some time with the sound system there. It goes in and out. We have gotten quotes in the past for the sound system in the conference center, and I remember they came in, I don't know what the exact cost was, but I remember they were costly, and at the time we just decided not to put the money there. At this time, what I did was I went ahead and did kind of what I did to the council chambers. I went and got quotes because I had no idea what it was going to cost. And basically what I told each of the vendors was take a look at the projector and the networking equipment as well as the sound system and itemize your quote to us. The only one that I received thus far is the one from Electrolink, and they're coming in at $32,000. I called ArtCom today because I was hoping to have their number before this meeting. He was unable to get me that number, so I don't want to provide you all the details of the quotes yet until I get everybody's final number in. We contacted a new vendor because Barcom is not going to be one of the vendors for this. We didn't ask them to be a vendor for this project, which was Mimi's. And they quoted $8,000. They're doing basic, like not touching the sound system. They're more looking at doing the upgrade to the projector systems, an amplifier in the conference center. So I'm more curious to see what ArtCom comes in their listed items. The other part to this is the council at the last council meeting moved to do specs for the council chambers, and so before we move, I've kind of already met with Barcom. Before we kind of move in that direction and I get ready to write the bid and go out, I wanted to present this item to council because if y'all want to do it as one big package, if you want to do one and not the other, I just kind of didn't want to get that ball rolling and we completely change it. And so I just kind of wanted to get direction from y'all, if y'all want to do it together, if you want to do one and not the other, if you want to just work on the visual over there and maybe just upgrade the laptop and the networking over there, and just y'all were okay with the sound system. I kind of just didn't know what position y'all were with that item, and so just kind of just trying to see maybe if I can put it maybe all together if y'all want to do it that way. And so
I got you. How long of a process is it from start to finish? Because my goal is to get I think doing it together is good, but my goal is to get a working system by January 26th at the town hall meeting. We've got to have a good working system.
So, as far as the projector, and I can do some quick fixes, but that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been piecemealing the whole stuff together. And we can do quick fixes. I can change the bulb, go buy y'all would have to do a budget adjustment because I would probably need about at least $1,500 for a new laptop. If I change the password to the Wi-Fi and don't, because I think what's happening is that Wi-Fi password has been there for so long, when people automatically walk into their building, their phone syncs to it, or they get automatically connected, and so it kept knocking me off. The system is an older system. It does need to be replaced. Each 3 vendors that were out there that saw the system was like, absolutely, you need some upgrading here. This is an old networking system. The cables need to be updated, and so. I don't know what that bid is going to be on the cabling or the networking portion of it. From Barcom's perspective, it's the least expensive out of the items, but I just don't know what that cost is going to be, if that's something that council wants to do. But if you're looking from start to finish, if you give me the okay, I'll meet with Barcom again. We'll get some specs together. I have to advertise for 2 weeks in the paper with the actual bid process, because it looks like it's going to be over, if y'all are going to do it, especially as one big it's going to be over $50,000. If y'all are just like, get it fixed, get it done, I technically can go with the Electrolink's quote. I mean, we come back for a second read, and hopefully I'd have Artcom's quote and some other quotes in, and then y'all could just take the conference center on its own. If it's under $50,000, y'all would just have to do a budget adjustment for that. That would require 2 reads. So it's still a lengthy process. I can, we could possibly have it done by January, depending on what y'all decide, because, I mean, it's going to take time to get pick the bid, advertise it, come back for 2 reads for a budget adjustment. I mean, it's cutting it pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Councilor Arcacero.
My intent was never to include the 2 together. I think they're 2 separate issues. One's brand new and the other's very old. The other thing I talked to you about is not only can you not hear so well, but you can't see, which is even worse. We need more than one screen. From the middle back, the people couldn't, and they said, well, go up and read it up there. Well, so you have a whole group of people.
Want to do that?
So I had each of them, I told them that the visual was the option. I wanted a line item, so that way if council wanted 3 projectors, 1 on each section, I could just say, okay, the projector on here, they're saying it cost, $2,000, and the screen costs and I could say, okay, well, y'all want 3 there, that's just multiply that by 3. But again, I just didn't know exactly as a council as a whole what y'all wanted.
I guess we need the consensus is, do we just work on this first, and then because the other one you're working on, but it's a later
Well,
thing.
that one that one I was getting ready to move forward and possibly bring back the specs of what the room was going to be before we went out to bid at the first meeting in December. But that's why I didn't want to get started on it. I met with Barcom, we started getting ready, and then this item came in, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to hold on and kind of moving forward with this, because if this is going to jump to priority, then we need to do that one before this one, and so I just need some clarity and direction.
Okay, I'm just wondering, would you get a break if you do 2? You know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I don't know anything about
I don't know. I mean, we
but
could make that the priority list for whatever vendor selected, and just say that comes first. I don't know if you get if you bid it out. I mean, I don't know enough about it.
My priority is the conference center first. So anyway, Councilor Martinez,
One of the trends in conference rooms or meeting rooms like this is to have a projector in the front, but have flat screen TVs for the second and third areas, and that way you can split them. I don't think we've ever had it where we've had it broken it down into 3 separate sections, even though the room is equipped for that. That way you could have 3 separate events.
Okay, Counselor Jordan.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. With my intentions of seconding this item also is the fact that the conference center would be my number one priority. We have meetings there, obviously, on a frequent basis. So it's rented out to different organizations for functions and so forth. And the speakers in the ceiling look like the ones that I had when I was in elementary school. And every time we go in there, it's just frustrating to the speakers go out, they're reverbing, they're vibrating. So we need to fix that system. We don't need to put a Band-Aid on it. I don't know where an $8,000 bid came in. Did they get everything did they get the same?
Their bid is very generic in the fact that they didn't detail what I requested. They didn't detail, because I wanted it broken down. Electrolinks, and the reason, again, I haven't sent out those detailed quotes yet is because I haven't received ARTCOM's quote yet. I also have San Antonio Audio Visual coming out as well to give us a quote, because Mimi's just basically said, here you go. So I Googled a couple of additionals since Barcom wasn't going to bid on the project. Electrolink and ARTCOM are obviously larger, more competitive bidders on items such as what we're trying to accomplish there. So I'm really curious to see what ARTCOM's quote comes in at. Then I'll be more than happy to send out the details of that quote to y'all. And then again, we can bring it back to council. If the bid is under 50 and that's your priority, then y'all would just select the vendor and what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Go ahead.
Yes. What I'm trying to say is we need to, in my opinion, we need to fix the system, completely upgrade the system. The audio, the video, and the internet and everything over there. Like I said, that's a conference center. It's a good facility for the city. We have the money to do it, and we ought to do it right.
I think so.
Upgrade it. That'd be my first priority, and to fix it first before we do anything else.
Okay. I'd like to get the consensus of my colleagues on my left. Councilor Rodriguez, do you agree with that? And Councilor Edwards?
Actually, I do agree. That probably should be our priority, since there are a lot of functions, a lot of meetings. I know that Maribel has the UTSA individuals coming in for their business meetings, so I think that would probably be our best bet, is to make that one more priority.
Okay. Councilor Edwards.
I think we need to do both. I think we need to fix what's wrong here with concerning the telecommunications issues, and also fix what we need over at the other facility.
Okay. And Councilor Martinez.
I concur with Dr. Edwards.
Okay. So what direction do we need to give Crystal? Because I hear 3 of y'all want the conference center priority, and then 2 of you want both. And I guess the way I looked at it is I want to do this room too, but I just think the priority, because of the town hall meeting, needs to be that because that's the whole, we defeat the purpose of the clickers, because people want to vote in private. And that's why we had a lower turnout, because, you're going to have to, that's why that system is such a wonderful system, because people can really express their opinion. But then when you have to say, oh, it's not working, raise your hand. I just don't want that to happen on the 26th of January. So, yes.
As long as, I understand that need, as long as there's a commitment to proceed with getting some kind of an estimate on fixing this situation also.
Yeah.
Whatever direction y'all give me, I'll be more than happy to accomplish. I was just trying to not.
Well, I think we already gave the direction to get some information here, so I'm just saying the priority would be conference. And then once we get that together, then to come back to this system.
Right. Okay. I just think I promised the council a December 1st deadline for this room.
But you can't be working on 2 different things, and I think you need to focus on one, and I would appreciate the conference center first. So
when could you? I agree.
It would be after the new year. It would have to be after the new year for the telecommunications.
Okay. All right. So for next meeting, can you get other bids so that we can vote on it?
So what you're going to have 2 reads, because it's going to be a budget adjustment. The item's not budgeted in this year.
Okay, so this read doesn't count, is what you're telling me.
I don't think so. Because it's not.
It says first read.
It's a first read for this, but it's not the first read for a budget adjustment. That would be a city attorney.
That's correct. But, you could take action tonight on what you want to do, to give her direction on what to do. But as far as the budget is concerned, or as far as how much money we're going to pay, or whether we're going to do the
know.
procurement process,
Right.
that's not in tonight.
Well, I agree with Counselor Jordan and maybe the rest of y'all too. Let's do it right. We've got the money. Let's do it right. Let's get everything fixed and the flat screen TV or whatever we need. So I don't know what that all entails, but it's going to be
it looks like
expensive,
the
but it'll
bids
be a
is
good
going to be under
investment.
50. I mean, I got Electrolinks into just speaking with Arcom, even though I don't have it in front of me. It looks like it's going to be under 50, so you wouldn't have to go through an actual bidding process. I can get more quotes and then just provide those quotes to council, and then y'all would do a budget. I would just lump it together as a budget adjustment, but that's, I mean,
technically, I guess we shouldn't have provided any of the quotes publicly tonight.
I didn't
because
give the details. I just gave a dollar amount.
there's other
Electrolinks-
vendors out there still.
Correct.
You
I mean,
gave the amount, which is significant.
Yeah, exactly.
right. I mean, so that's, I
So
mean.
let's slow down, please. And
Okay, I was trying, because, I mean, after I do, if you go through the actual procurement if you go through and we actually go out for bids, I have to advertise it for 2 weeks. That's gonna put it past the first meeting, the next meeting, then you're gonna have to have 2 reads after that.
Right.
And then they have to actually go and do the work. You're not gonna, and with the Christmas holidays, you're not gonna have that done by January.
All right, well, we don't want the bid. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Oh, okay, if you don't, then I can
I
bring the
I don't
next
think we can,
quotes.
I don't think we have the time because we don't have our second meeting in January till January 15th.
Correct. That, I'm just trying to give y'all the dates.
So can you keep it rolling as a first read on November the 20th?
Correct, with the updated quote list, with the updated quotes that
Exactly.
I got from San Antonio, but they're already bidding, so San Antonio Visual
And then our second read December
whatever that
5th
meeting
or
is.
3rd, 5th,
Correct,
right?
and that would give them
And
time,
then-
y'all would make the selection
Okay,
on that
and then
time.
it'll give them about 6 weeks
to get the project done.
project done. Okay, what do y'all think?
And make that,
Does that sound good?
make them be aware that that's
Yeah, we
what
have a
they
time
to do.
crunch. Yeah.
Right.
Is that good? Yes. All right. Any more direction?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good. All right. Let's move then to agenda item 9.6, amendment to the Leon Valley organizational chart. And Ms. Kinsler, city manager, will continue this presentation or begin this presentation. Oh, there we go. That's
itty bitty.
Itty bitty. Yeah.
City manager has old eyes, she can't see.
There you go.
So what I'm proposing is you have an organizational chart in front of you, and actually nothing is changing as far as what you've approved. The number of directors is exactly the same. The number of positions budgeted for is exactly the same. I'm changing up the responsibilities. So if you look under here, you'll see Business Relations Director. We renamed that. I would like to hire an individual that the team interviewed, actually for fire chief. And he was really good, but he had some other qualifications that we realized he would fit into the team pretty well. He was applying 2 other places in Bexar County and is willing to withdraw his applications to come here. He wants to be part of the team. But this individual would do economic development, business compliance, facility rentals, and management, although under the business relations director would fall Monty Bell's position, so she'd actually, be working with him, special events and programs and communications. So what that does, it just fills that director position with him, and then instead of Monty Bell answering directly to the city manager, now she would answer directly to the business relations director. Why do I bring this to you? Not necessarily for a vote or anything, because I'm not adding any more positions, I'm not doing anything different. But what I presented to you during the budget was a different job description than what you see in front of you tonight. And so I want to be just transparent about that and show you that that job description has been amended. I think that you like the amendment. I think it's favorable to what you're wanting. But I just wanted you to be able to see that in an organizational chart and on paper what my intentions were. Again, budget doesn't change, director positions doesn't change, number of staff doesn't change. It's just an internal reorganization. But it's also a change of that job description. And I presented you with a different job description. This person is capable of doing more than what that original job description had in place. And so there's some additions to this job description.
So is that person a pseudonym, or is that the real person?
That's the real person. Put him in that, yeah. He's under a conditional job offer right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just would stand for
Okay.
questions and answer. I talked to Mayor Riley at one point about shuffling around and what I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish, and asked her what she thought, and she said yes. She thought also that I should, let the council know what I was doing.
Definitely.
And then we decided, well, let's just do it this way so that not only does the council know, but the citizens know as well, just in the interest of being absolutely transparent.
So,
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
so this is a different position from whatever that other one was called.
It's still a business relations position. I'm just naming it, instead of a business relations specialist, it's a director position now.
And this is a person who applied to be fire chief?
He has his MPA, and he applied to be fire chief. He's the former fire chief from Port Aransas, but he has other training and skills as well.
So this was the economic director box, right? That you renamed to business relations director.
That's correct.
Okay, and I guess my question is when the council approved it in September, or August actually, we approved that position, although it wasn't a director's position, for a 1 year.
That's correct.
A 1 year, is that still the case?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's what I was, because we were wanting to reevaluate it next budget cycle to see if we wanted to actually rename it or focus more on economic development. I just wanted to be sure
And
that
this
was still in
position
there.
actually now focuses more on economic development than the
Okay.
prior one did.
Okay, and can we, I'd like maybe in 6 months, get an update about, because I know one of the major reasons why you wanted business relations director versus economic development is because you wanted to continue, finish, closure, whatever, on all the audits.
That's correct.
So I'd like, if the council is in agreement, maybe in 6 months, let's get an update, see where we're at.
I'd love to give you an update in
know?
6 months. I'm hoping that I bring you an update at 6 months that says we're
Because
done.
everything's
and
done.
we're-
Okay,
that's what I'm hoping.
Okay, I mean, I really would, and then
we
we
put a
can
team
kind
on
of
it.
see, the focus, because I know one thing I still haven't gotten, but I'd like to get the numbers on that UTSA coffee, what kind of outreach we got, and did we bring in anybody, into the city, and I know you've been really busy and whatnot, so, I mean,
And
those
I
are the kinds of
definitely
things.
have not contacted the people that attended
So,
and asked them, so yeah.
Right,
you're
so
correct.
that, again, we've
And
been
then now
kind
we
of in
have
it.
San Antonio College coming in to do training for our businesses as well. And so we're not paying anything for that, but we want some sort of measure on that
Sure,
as well.
exactly. Okay. Any other questions on this
Yes, I have
particular?
a
Yes,
question.
Counselor Edwards.
I know under the Home Rule Charter, it's your responsibility to hire the chief of the fire department and some other positions, but I think is there any way we could just see this person's resume, just as, you're impressed, but I would just sort of like to see it, just to see what his background is.
You can request any resume
Yeah.
you'd like.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right,
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Martinez.
My concern is all the duties that this person is going to have. I think his job description is more than one person can handle.
And Monty Bell will actually be right under him doing some of that. But
Special
we're just
events
showing,
and
we're
programs
just
and
showing you the
communications.
director
We'll do that.
positions on that thing. Right.
But code compliance and also health inspector and
So code compliance means code compliance with the businesses, not out in the residences. So that's basically what Todd is doing right now, is looking for C of Os, making sure that taxes are being paid here, making sure that they're a legitimate business. So it's all part of it, absolutely. And Todd's doing that 10 to 15 hours a week.
But once this person comes on board, he won't be doing that anymore.
Todd will actually be working with him for the first month just to turn things over, and then Todd will be back at the fire department permanently.
So, Mr. Martinez, I guess I see faculty rentals and management, special events and programs and
Does that say faculty or
communications.
facility?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't read that. I thought
I
it
don't
was
think we're for rent.
No, facility, excuse me, rentals and management. Thank you. Does it look like, doesn't it look like it does look like faculty, doesn't it? Felicity, it looks like
Felicity.
Falcity. That's your daughter. Okay, but anyway, those three bullets, Maribel's still going to be doing, right?
Exactly.
And so
He will
really,
be
he's
in
only
charge of
doing
these
economic-
areas,
okay.
just like the city manager is in charge of all of these areas, but obviously I don't do them. I just keep in touch with the directors, and so he will oversee Maribel's position and some of those responsibilities, but it doesn't mean he's going to be doing them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, I still love the organizational chart because our bosses are the citizens. So
Mhm,
I always
absolutely.
say that, and that's what I love about this chart.
Great.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you for being transparent because you and I talked about it, and I thought, well, if you're changing it, then that's not what we approved in the budget, and so I wanted to be sure we were all on the same page. So thank you. And
Absolutely.
when is Mr. Cox's first day?
I think it's the 13th. That sounds right to me.
Of November.
And so, in fact, I know for sure by the 20th, the city council meeting on the 20th, I'd like to get the new fire chief sworn in and do the ceremonial thing for him, and then I'll introduce Mr. Cox to you as well.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. So we're moving to the close of our agenda this evening to agenda item number 10, citizens to be heard. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council at this time? Please come forward. Yes, Ms. Pasolay.
May I speak in citizens
Sure
to be
may.
heard?
You sure
Since
may.
somebody else is?
You want to give us the update?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so if I can read my own writing. For early voting, you had a total of, and this is unofficial, and we are posting this right now on the Facebook and website and out front.
Okay.
Unofficially, 3,458 for in early voting, with 277 voting in election day, for a total of 2,510 in favor. And you had 117 undervotes early voting and 7 undervotes today. But your totals were, again, the 2,510 for and 948 opposed, and that's unofficial.
Okay. So the crime control district is
Continues.
reapproved for 10 years. Okay.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So at approximately 8:58 on Tuesday, November the 6th, if there's no objection, we move to adjourn. Thank you all very much. And we'll see you at the next meeting or in the neighborhood, as they say. Thank you.